sidelines for a long time. Now I'm finally getting in the game. It's about time. This is my time. This is my time. The only thing I consider impossible is losing. I've been waiting on the sidelines for a long time. Now I'm finally getting in the game. It's about time. This is my time. This is my time. The only thing I consider impossible is losing. On the sidelines for a long time. Now I'm finally getting in the game. It's about time. This is my time. This is my time. The only thing I consider impossible is losing. I've been waiting on the sidelines for a long time. Now I'm finally getting in the game. It's about time. This is my time. This is my time. The only thing I consider impossible is losing. On the sidelines for a long time. Now I'm finally getting in the game. It's about time. This is my time. This is my time. The only thing I consider impossible is losing. I've been waiting on the sidelines for a long time. Now I'm finally getting in the game. It's about time. This is my time. This is my time. The only thing I
What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to TDPHINSTALK, home of the real Miami Dolphin fans. Once again, we got another stream pumping out for you guys. You see your boy got his Raggedy Zone shirt on. Listen, man, breaking news, Derek Carr to the Saints. What does this mean for the Jets? And we're going to have an open panel. I'm about to drop the link, bring everybody in. Baby girl sleep. I'm on baby girl duty, so if she wake up, she's going to be joining us. But she is asleep right now. So let me go ahead and put the link in the comment section. Y'all can go ahead and start coming in, but we're going to have this discussion and more. But listen, one chip is off the board, Derek Carr. The reason why I feared Derek Carr going to the Jets was because they would still be able to maintain their draft capital to get even better. Now it looks like that's not gonna happen, but they still have an opportunity to be in a window and go for a Super Bowl run with Aaron Rodgers if they were to acquire him, which means they'll put a little bit more pressure on trying to do that. And they also have the Lamar Jackson opportunity as well. This is going to be interesting. This is going to be very interesting to see who ends up. I just hope they end up with worst case scenario, Jimmy G. And at the end of the day, they'll still be a good team, though. That's the only thing I don't like for the Dolphins is the simple fact that if they end up with Aaron Rodgers or if they even end up with Jimmy G, they'll still be a good team. So We'll see how that ends up. Somebody said, all right, Jameis to the Jets. I don't think that's gonna happen. Yeah, but they can go all out for Lamar if they want. This non-exclusive tag, we got to see what I think everything is going to hinge on what in the heck is going to happen in Baltimore. What is going to happen in Baltimore? Jameis Winston pretty much is likely to get cut at this point. And it's a post-June 1st cut. They'll cut Jameis Winston post-June 1st. So I'm gonna be honest, Jameis Winston might even end up in Miami. I mean, I'm just saying. He might end up in Miami post June 1st when we clear Byron's money. It's possible. Man. Interesting. This is interesting. I will say that. Y'all hit the like button on the way in. Before we get started, we got to get these likes up. Lamar gone, bro. Come home, baby. Listen, man, all of these are viable options. We're going to see what happens. I see people coming backstage. I'm going to get to y'all in a moment. If you want to join the show, click the link and join up. Let me pin the comment in the comment section because we're going to have an open panel as well. Discuss a lot of this stuff. But I need y'all to hit the like button and come on in the building. I'm not mad at Jameis Winston coming. Well, I don't know where he's coming. I'm just saying he's going to be an option now. TD, that last stream on Barry Cunningham was strong in facts. Yes, sir. Y'all go check it out. All right, let me pin the link to the show. All right, we good. We got it all pinned up. Yeah, man. With the Jets, man, that's the team in the AFC East that I'm worried about the most because I really want to see what's gonna happen. I really want to know what's gonna happen. It's gonna be very interesting. It's gonna be very interesting. What do y'all think? What do y'all think the Jets are gonna end up with? I'm about to poll it. Jets QB. I'm about to poll the options, and I want to know what y'all think. Rodgers, Lamar, and I'm gonna put other. Give me your honest opinion. What do y'all think is going to end up happening? Rodgers, Lamar, other. Oh, I spelled other wrong. I put a T at the end. I don't know how, but y'all get the point. I'm gonna be honest. Rodgers give them a chance to be contenders. Lamar give them chances to be one of the favorites. Other gives them a chance to make the playoffs. They getting Tannehill. Y'all keep saying that. The Tennessee GM say they keeping Tannehill, but hey, we'll see. TD, you know that Rodgers and Lamar aren't going to that poverty franchise. I can't say that about Rodgers. I don't think Lamar is going to go there, but I can't say that about Rodgers. I can't say that. That'll be interesting. I think Rodgers can end up a Jet. I don't see the Lamar thing because I don't think Lamar would want to go there, especially with taxes. Maybe Jimmy GTD. That makes them a playoff team, but it does not make them a Super Bowl favorite or nothing like that. I don't believe. Jimmy G on the Jets ain't no different than Jimmy G with the 49ers, in my opinion. Top defense, got a run game, young weapons. It might be slightly less with the Jets. So, yeah, you can make some noise in the playoffs, win a game, 2 if you're lucky. But that's where I'll put it. I don't see Jimmy G making them. But with Jimmy G, you can hurt feelings. You can knock a team off like potentially the Dolphins in a tough game. and vice versa. We can knock them off, but it'll be tough. It'll make the season more split worthy. You know, like you win one, lose one against the Dolphins. Same with the Patriots. That's what a Jimmy G could do. Yeah, Rodgers would fit nice in Tampa. Um, they still ain't got the run game. The O line is iffy, in and out. I don't see that happening in Tampa. I think Tampa is content with tanking this season and going after a quarterback next year because they still paying Brady. They're like Brady's like a $35 million cap hit this year. Y'all got to understand that. You can't take on a $35 million cap hit this year and be talking Lamar. So no, I don't think Lamar ends up in Tampa nor Rodgers. I think they're content with being bad this year and going after Caleb Williams hopefully next year. I think that's what the Bucs will do, and that's what you signed up for when you went for broke. But at least it worked for you, and you won a Super Bowl. There's no bad thing about tanking this year if you're a Bucs fan. You got your money worth what you did. Now you got to live out the other. Now you got to pay the cost of it, but it was worth it. It was worth it. Again, I honestly just hope either got any of these quarterbacks end up in the NFC. That's what I hope. I hope they take the easier path because the NFC is wide open with the exception of Philly. The NFC is wide open to make the playoffs, which will be respectable on your resume. Derek Carr need to make the playoffs. That's what he need to do. And that's why he probably going to the Saints. If Derek Carr already had playoff success, he might have been a Jet. But he knows his best chance of making the playoffs is going to the NFC. And maybe Aaron Rodgers will take the same approach. Lamar Jackson, I don't know. But I just hope they all end up in the NFC. Any one of them guys end up in the AFC in these multiple teams is a scary thing. Because no matter what, in the AFC, even a good quarterback won't make it for the next few years because the AFC is loaded. This AFC is absolutely loaded. TD, who should we take in the second round? Don't we have 2 second picks? No, we got 1 second round pick, or have I been living under a rock and I'm tripping? Man, the Titans are clearing house. They expected to release pass rusher Bud Dupree, who was supposed to get $17 million this year. They are cleaning house. Maybe Tannehill, they might trade him. Maybe. But yeah, we don't have 2 seconds. Think you're talking about the third round. If I'm not mistaken, I believe that's exactly what you're talking about, the third round. Okay. Give me a second here. All right, make sure I'm good. All right, that's it. I think I'm good. All right. All right. The UFQB would be perfect for Miami if he falls that low. That ain't happening. That is not happening. Y'all think we should go running back or linebacker in the second round? I think they'll go linebacker again, but we'll talk about that. All right. And y'all got to remember our second round pick is a late second round pick. Why would the Ravens trade Lamar in their own conference? That doesn't make any sense. Well, but I think we all need to be careful about talking about trades with Lamar. Everybody needs to chill on the Lamar until we understand tomorrow. Y'all have to understand tomorrow is the big day. Tomorrow is the big day. Tomorrow, the dominoes fall all over the NFL. Tomorrow. I don't know if y'all didn't know that, but tomorrow is the day. There will be a lot of maneuvering tomorrow. Tomorrow is the deadline for tagging players. March 7th is the deadline. What are you going to do, Baltimore? Franchise, exclusive, non-exclusive. As soon as that is determined, then we can talk. Because if they non-exclusive him, nobody needs to talk about trades anymore. There ain't no trade. Don't talk about a trade. If they put that non-exclusive tag, oh boy. Oh boy. Man. Give me 1 second. If they put that non-exclusive tag on Lamar Jackson, everybody and their mama gonna be calling Lamar because he ain't got no agent. They gonna be calling Lamar, and guess what? Lamar gonna talk to who he want to talk to, the teams he would be willing to go to. And that's where you have to ask yourself, would Chris Greer call Lamar and talk about how much it'll cost him to be a Dolphin? Would Chris Greer pick up the phone and call Lamar if he's on a non-exclusive tag? Because we can go get our first round pick if we have to. Everybody, we don't even have a first this year, so why are y'all talking about it? If you wanted Lamar, you can go get a first like that. I can call Chris Greer can call 20 teams right now and say, Christian Wilkins, give me your first. Done. I got 2 seconds. Kansas City, let me get that first. There's so many different ways we can pick up a first round pick this year if we want. I give you my second this year, my first next year. Give me your first now. I mean, whatever. I mean, we'll still need the one next year, but you get my point. We can pick up a first easily. People just try to make every way they can to not make it work. We can easily do it. And it's funny to me when people say not worth $250 million guaranteed. What is Tua going to be worth if he plays well? See, this is the funny part. Tua ain't even got to be as good as Lamar's MVP level, but if he play well enough, what do you think he going to get? Let me give y'all an example. Tua doesn't play on a Lamar level, his MVP level, or none of that, nothing like that. But Tua plays like a Derek Carr or a Kirk Cousins and has a successful year, right? Still not as good as an MVP version of Lamar, but he has a good, strong season. What in the heck do you think we're going to pay Tua every year? So stop saying it's too much money. Like, why do y'all keep saying that? And if this is about the guarantees, who cares? We talk about a player who actually won a MVP award, the best player in the NFL for the entire season, not 3 games. So tomorrow is the day where everybody finds out what type of tag they put on Lamar. And if it's non-exclusive, all hell is going to break loose. in the NFL. Teams are going to call him. He's at that point, he's going to get all them phone calls and he's going to say, I don't want to go to you. I'm not coming to you. I'm not coming to you. I'm not coming to you. Hey, you're definitely a team I would like to come to. Let's talk. It's time for us to get a situation where we all go crazy as fans. And Lamar is that guy. Lamar is that guy. Let's start bringing some people in. We got Jarvis.
What's up with you, man? What's up with the TD?
I'm good. I'm good. How you feeling, brother?
I'm feeling good, man. You don't believe how long I've been trying to get on live with you, man.
What?
I'll be messaging you. I'll be trying to get on live. I'll be working a lot, so this is my first time getting on, man. How you doing?
I'm good. I'm good, man. I'm glad you're on this time, man.
I know, right? You see, I'm still at work.
Yeah. I say, hey, gotta get it in. I'm bringing your mic volume down a little.
Okay, that's good. That's good.
All right, we good now. So talk to me, man. What's your thoughts?
To me personally, I want Lamar, man, because I know in the system that we running, a speed quarterback, speedy running back, speedy receivers, teams will have problems trying to pick and choose which one they're gonna take.
Mm-hmm.
And Tour, I'm from Florida, Pensacola to be exact, so I'm not too far from Alabama, and I watched him a lot. I liked him in college, but the more I've seen him in the NFL, I don't think he the dude, man. And we gotta find our true quarterback because I want to see a Super Bowl in my lifetime. I'm 40,
Exactly.
be 41 next month, and I want to see a Super Bowl, man. And
Exactly.
I don't think Tua is gonna get us there. He's not durable. He don't process the field. I seen that myself.
So you liked him in Alabama, but you recognize these things in the NFL.
Yeah, like you did the evaluation. You seen he throwing wide open targets.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And we don't need no. I need somebody that's gonna get into a receiver with somebody on his back and gonna lead him in
See,
stride.
nobody talks about that, right? Even this year, he was throwing the wide open receivers, right?
Uh,
But what happened in the games where they took the receivers away? Where they blanketed Tyreek and they were shutting down Waddle. What happened in those games? That happened versus San Francisco. That happened versus the Chargers.
exactly.
And that's my issue. Wide open receivers, that's fine. But when you get into the playoffs and they scheme against it, Tua showed he ain't going to be able to show up in those moments where you take away those things. That's why you need a playmaker, a guy that can fight and break through those moments. And
I
that's my
agree.
biggest issue. I don't care how great he becomes throwing the wide open people. When the nitty
Right.
get gritty and you got to sit there and you got to have the perfect pass because it's great coverage or the guys ain't open, can you make a play? And he has proven time and time again the answer is no. No. But we're
Right.
so enamored in the perfect situation with wide open guys. Ladies and
I used to
gentlemen,
watch.
in the playoffs, that's going to disappear.
Right. Right. Things get tighter in the playoffs, just like in college. In them playoffs, coverage got tighter.
It's crazy to
Yeah.
me, man. Jason, what
Yeah.
you got on this?
What's TD? Y'all brothers can hear me?
Yeah, we got you, bro.
It's the same sentiment, man. If we have to ride with Tua, then that's fine. Fins up no matter what. But fans are being blatantly, I don't want to say ignorant, but they're looking for any excuse as to why to invalidate a Lamar trade because they constantly say they try to act like he's an incompetent passer, which anybody who watches Ravens games know he's a very good passer. The guy has had multiple games where he's ended with 80% completion rating percentage. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and he's thrown for over 300 yards in some of those games. So the guy is a great passer. I wouldn't put him up there with the elites, but he can get the job done in the NFL. And then you have the people who say, well, if we get Lamar, we're not going to have this, we're not going to have that. Well, that's why you get a Lamar, because people don't really listen to themselves. When you're explaining how to win with Tua, you're saying we need elite weapons on both sides of the ball. When you're explaining how to win with Lamar, he's showing you he can carry a team, and you don't need to go get a premium linebacker, a premium cornerback, a premium O-line, a Dalvin Cook. Lamar doesn't need all of that in order to be successful and win games. He can win with this current roster, in my opinion. People might disagree with that, but they indirectly tell you what they truly think about Tua, because if Tua is so great, then why does Tua need everything in the world in order to be successful?
Oh well, let me tell you something. They told me what they think about Tua recently. I put it all together, and matter of fact, Barry Cunningham helped me put it together when I listened to something he said. They told me that they aren't 100% sold on Tua, and they are looking for other options. Whether they take it or not is irrelevant, but they are. Here's why. They benched him at the end of the season.
Right.
I just like, we all make these narratives as if it wasn't a benching, but now for a fact I know they benched him. Tua out his own mouth said that they didn't start his protocol till after the season. NFL protocol is you start protocol right when you got a concussion. NFL protocol is you don't have a delayed protocol. There ain't no such thing as a delayed protocol. Miami was done seeing you get hurt this year. They said we don't want to take the risk of you being on the field any longer. We feel like something really bad is going to happen to you if we put you back on this field this year. So sit out the rest of the year. What's up, Anthony?
Hey, TD, we need to. Our fan base needs to focus on one thing that we haven't been focusing on really. Look at his agency that he just signed with, Athletes First. That's Aaron Rodgers' representation. You really think they're not going to give him trying to get him that money like they got Aaron with the Packers and stuff? I'm not saying Aaron Rodgers level money, but in general, getting him that big money contract. And let's not act like that wasn't his father influencing him to go there. Let's not act like that. Like his mother wants him not to play football. His father is the one that's forced. I bet you his mother wants him to retire. I bet you his mother wants him to retire from football for his health, but the father wants him to stay in the sport because of the money. Let's not am I looking too much into that, or do you actually see that too?
I mean, it could be, but we don't know. That's where the speculative is. Nothing wrong with hearing that potential. It could be. It's just a speculative thing. We don't know.
How about the Aaron Rodgers thing? The Aaron Rodgers him going to Athletes First. Am I looking too much into that, or do you guys see that too?
No, same thing. This is about money right now. This is about the payday for Tua. Right now, we're in the middle. Okay, let's be honest here. Even if you did fear your career, it's like Rocky Balboa, right? If you think about the Rocky series, which me and the wife are watching now because she never seen it, so I'm getting her caught up.
Creed.
Yeah, so I'm trying to get her caught up so that we can go see Creed 3. But when you think about the Rocky series, the man pretty much retired 3 times. But the first time he retired is because he knew he didn't want to go out there and die. He barely could see out of the right eye, fast enough. But he went broke, and he needed the money. So he went and fought, and he got the money. But then he kept fighting. At the end of the day, you're not going to sit there and say, I'm 1 year away from getting millions on top of millions of guaranteed dollars. I'm 1 year away. It don't matter if I get hurt after that. I can care less then, but I am 1 year away, or I'm right now away from it. You know, if Chris Greer want to give me a 5-year, $100 million contract and guarantee 60, I don't care what I do after that. I got $60 million guaranteed coming to me. You know, so I could even take a cheap deal, but I got big millions why would I leave that on the table and just leave football now, even if I think that it ain't the best option? Y'all have to understand. If I was into a situation, and even me personally, I said to myself, I shouldn't play football anymore. I'm not saying that's what he believes, but even if I felt to myself, I shouldn't play football anymore, I'm sorry. I have to be honest with y'all. If Chris Greer came to me with a 5-year, $100 million contract with $60 million guaranteed, I'm signing up. And after every little injury I get, I can't play. I'm sorry, I'm banged up.
Hey, and this is what Jason.
Matter of fact, I got a headache.
What's up, Mountie?
Hey, after the game, after every game, I got a headache and I'm woozy. I can't even remember what happened. Man, I'm getting my $60 million.
I've been saying that since in the spaces. I'm telling you, it's about the security. It's about the security bag grab right now, because see, Tua had Leigh Steinberg. Can't blame him for it. Leigh Steinberg was one of the best agents in the game. For you to have to fire him and go to another agency tells me Leigh Steinberg basically kept it real with you. They're gonna want to. He probably told him, they're not going to give you your 5th-year option. They want to see you play your 4th year to see how things go, and then we'll reconvene after the season. But see, now he's trying to get his bag, which I'm not mad at him, but he has to also understand.
He wants a yes man.
But he also understand this is a business. He hasn't been healthy in 3 seasons, so who's gonna give you any significant and then guarantee you any significant amount of money?
Bro,
and you haven't been healthy.
If I was Tua, I even take the small 5-year, $100 million. Give me $60 million guaranteed. Preseason, I'm gonna go out there in preseason, and right after the game, man, I don't even remember what just happened.
And that's what scares me. I don't care about the yearly salary. It's that guaranteed money that's going to destroy your cap.
Right. Yeah, man, I'm every week. I don't remember what happened. I can care less. I mean, that's $60 million guaranteed. I can cushion 3 years through if I got to. It's that simple.
And to me, the Saints are delusional. They're not a Super Bowl contending team, to be honest. That's delusional that they're doing this. TD. It's
but here's the difference with the Saints. They don't have to be a Super Bowl team. They're a playoff team in the NFC now with Carr. It's not about the Super Bowl. At least they're a playoff team now with Carr. So they're in the dance. It makes the fan base happy.
I know that, but it's still delusional. They should be rebuilding right now. They shouldn't be signing a veteran quarterback because Michael Thomas can't stay healthy. We complain about Tua. Their fan base complains about Michael Thomas not staying healthy. So they don't really have weapons there for Derek Carr. What's going to happen? They have Alvin Kamara, but he has issues. We don't know if he's going to be if he's going to be suspended this season because of those issues off the field. So he doesn't really have weapons, so it doesn't make sense for them to sign him to that deal. Do you guys? Am I being harsh on the Saints, or do you guys see that too? That is delusional.
Oh, I don't see the Saints going to the Super Bowl. He would have had a better chance with the Jets.
Yeah. Well, again, this ain't about that. No. See, this ain't about that. It's already good. Y'all missing it. Derek Carr made the perfect decision. It's not about going to win the Super Bowl. Has Derek Carr been to the playoffs?
The past 2 years, no.
I believe so. No,
I think once. If I'm not mistaken, he's been only once.
10 years. 10 years, right? So it's not about winning the Super Bowl. is about him getting in a dance and getting back to being respected, because it is not respectable to be 10 years and made one appearance, okay? It's already hard enough to win a Super Bowl. So there was no guarantee no matter where you went, you were going to win one.
Yeah, he's 0-1 in the playoffs.
So going to a wild card game or a second round with the Jets and losing, which is a great possibility, I'd rather go to the NFC and get, and there's no guarantee you still make the playoffs with the Jets. It definitely gives them a great chance, but it's the AFC now. You see what's over here? This is a slugfest.
You have Patrick Mahomes. You have the possibility of Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, who's standing in the way in the NFC now, other than the Eagles?
Nobody. Not
exactly.
They're the weaker conference now.
Depends on how the moves that the Giants make. The Giants
I get that, but it's not going to keep them from being one of the best 7 teams.
No, yeah,
they're caving into Daniel Jones. They're going to give him $40 million a year.
They got a great chance of making the playoffs over there, and that's what's important for Derek Carr right now. He made the right decision.
Yeah, no, but you guys you just brought up the Giants. They're caving into Daniel Jones's demands. They're gonna give him $40 million a year, apparently.
Well, we'll see. I'll wait to see on that. See, that's that stuff though. That's that stuff I'm talking about right there. And then these twin years are gonna go crazy about it. You give Daniel Jones $40 million. Oh my gosh, here we go.
No, somebody on another broadcast was saying they wanted to give Tua $30 million for 2 years.
To be honest,
I almost had to hang up. I mean, I almost had to get off.
He was looking for a long-term deal, okay? And rightfully so, he should be. Man, see, why do we have to be in this situation?
Because we don't have a competent GM.
Because 3 years, we still got a guy who ain't proven to solidify, guarantee 1,000% I'm that dude. That's why.
TD, I'll say this. I always try, and I know I don't try to compare him to the elites, but I said it the other day on your panel. You look at guys like Howie Roseman. Howie Roseman could have had Justin Jefferson. He drafted a bust. Two years later, he makes up for it. He gets Jalen Hurts when Carson Wentz gets in his feelings. He gets Jalen Hurts. People call him crazy for it. Look at how well that worked out. Certain GMs just don't put their teams in this type of situation. And when you have a guy like Greer, who, he does certain things that are good, but oftentimes he trips over his own feet, you get in situations like this, where you have a QB who, you really don't know what he's going to look like next year. You don't know if he's going to stay healthy. There's so many ifs, ands, or buts rather than things that are solid, rather than I know this is what this guy's going to look like next year. Right? And there are certain moves where GMs, they just do the big boy move. You know what, Tua? I love your potential, but there is just too many ifs surrounding you, and I have to go get a definite. That's what a big boy GM would do. Chris Greer over here doing the back and forth.
He's trying to cater to the fan base, Jason. That's the issue.
It's just creating a bigger mess.
He's thinking business. He's not thinking sports right now. Whatever sales tickets, that's what they're going for.
There's a reason why these other teams have far better stability than us, right? You're talking about GMs who you'll see GMs, they'll build a super team, go in a 2-year, 3-year hiatus, and then be right back. Meanwhile, Chris Greer is still trying to make his first playoff win. Like, there's a reason for that, right? And some people might say, well, Stephen Ross handcuffs him, this, that, and the third. But at the same time, if that's the case, then Chris Greer got to just quit. Like, go somewhere else. Because it's not going to look good on you at the end of the day.
It ain't going to happen.
Jason, actually, it's funny you should bring that up. He actually, there's reports coming out after the Lamar draft specifically that he said, if you draft Lamar, fire me. He didn't want Lamar. He hates Lamar. Like,
Who?
do you guys really think his feelings about Lamar changed since then,
Who?
Nah,
or
I remember. I remember that was the rumor going around 2-3 years ago when we didn't get Lamar. They said that Chris Greer was clashing with Stephen Ross, but the fact that it never came back up again made me think it was probably just one of those rumors that just floats around because people were saying how much Stephen Ross loved Lamar, but we ended up going in another direction. So that was the rumor floating around. But I mean, since nobody else has ever spoken on it, I figured it was just a dead rumor. Like, okay, it was just something people made up. But I don't know any truth to it. I haven't heard anything about that since.
Well, we just got news that
oh,
the Titans are shopping Derrick Henry right now.
And what is people
Where'd
saying that we should get Henry? I don't think we should.
Not if you ain't gonna get the best O-line in football.
No, that's what I'm saying.
and he doesn't really fit this. I don't think Derrick Henry, the way he runs, fits the scheme. TD, do you agree?
Yeah, we become a more power run game. Well, I'm not gonna say he doesn't
I'm
fit
cool
the
with that.
scheme.
How did he do last year? I don't remember him being all that great last year, or was he? I don't remember.
He was pretty solid, but
He was injured.
when he faced teams like the Jaguars, they're pretty much headhunting, and defenses have kind of, I wouldn't say figured out how to stop him, but it's become a bit easier because he's getting a bit older, and so he got popped a few times last year. It was a lot of highlight reels on linebackers and defensive players pretty much popping him and causing him to fumble the ball.
That O-line was very poor last year, though.
Yeah,
and they do have zone blocking, so it's a fit. It's just I know we want a speedy guy, but I think this would take the ball out of Tua's hands a lot more, and I don't like that for this reason. I have been on record, and I continue to tell y'all, every time we run the ball well, those are some of Tua's worst games, and here's why. Let Tua throw the ball 2 to 3 times, you're going to get a first down. If you force Tua to throw it one time, now you're getting into dangerous territory. And here's what I mean by that. When you're a run-first team and you have a situation where first down is 2 yards, second down is -1, and it's 3rd and 9, I don't like that because here's the deal. You can't expect Tua to thrive in an obvious passing situation. See, the beauty about this year is even if we didn't run well, we would still hand it off, but you didn't know which one you were going to get. And you had a lot of guys going in motion, pulling, and all of that, even on pass plays. And Tua does not do well when it's just a 3rd and long situation and we ran the ball 2 downs. It's the same thing I say about Josh Allen. He is a rhythm quarterback, and I told Buffalo fans having a run game in Buffalo is actually worse for Josh Allen. And I know in theory that doesn't make sense, but trust me when I tell you, those guys are rhythm throwers. They need to continue to chuck it to get in a rhythm. They cannot Russell Wilson this thing in Seattle. That's not what their strengths are.
Yo, TD,
We should go get.
Hey, TD, I totally agree with you. You said it before many, many, many times. I sir Tua. So I need a real quarterback who can make real big boy NFL throws. The guys I was watching film last night on him last night. A lot of his big throws are guys that are wide open. I mean, Tyreek wide open. Like, I've never seen him throw contested throw
but
completed.
It's a catch-22. He won't throw it because it's risky because you have to be perfect on it, but it keeps his interception numbers down this year. But some of those throws still got to be made. That's the issue.
He won't make them.
This is where I'll push back on you, TD. This is where I'll push back on you. For me, Tua is at his best when he's a game manager, not that type of gunslinger that people want him to be. He's at best when he's a game manager, working off the play action instead of that gunslinger people want him to be.
But Anthony, how does that work for 17 games though? How does that
Thank
teams
you.
are going to adjust? They're going to adjust to that game manager.
Anthony, can you tell me what good game he's had as a game manager against the Lions? Did we not gunsling?
Yes, we did gunsling, but
in order to win against Baltimore, didn't it turn into a gunsling? I'm talking about his great games, though, Anthony. His great games where he played great and efficient, they were the gunsling games.
Horrible.
Yeah, no, you brought up. It's funny you bring up Baltimore. We forget he was horrible. He was horrible the first three quarters of that game.
First two.
No, he was horrible in the third quarter too.
He wasn't great, but he wasn't bad in the third quarter. He was fair, bro. I evaluated that game a million times. First half track.
Again, he's throwing a wide open guys.
I get it.
Plus the coverage.
I'm just saying, give me the game manager game. What game can you refer to that was a game manager game?
Okay, the two Patriots games. The two Patriots games.
Yeah, but he played poor in his one Patriot game this year, by the way. But he played poor in that first Patriots game.
One of the Jets games, the first Jets game.
He didn't play in none of the Jets games.
Yeah.
He did it?
No, this is my point. I'm telling you, bro. There ain't no good game manager games.
Okay. Now I see what you're saying. He's more efficient with the gunslinger mentality.
Houston Texans. He was a game manager. 1 touchdown. And you saw when Armstead went out how things went. He said, I know what you meant, Anthony. The play action. He's good with the play action. But that's not more so game management. We could play action the whole game. That ain't game management.
TD, I'll say a third aspect you were missing out on was the catch-22 is he doesn't throw it much, keeps his interceptions down, but it's also the reason he gets hurt because he's holding on to the ball. He's seeing defenders and he's getting nervous. Yeah. He's saying, oh well, you know what? Rather than throw this ball away, I'm just gonna hold on to it and try to wait until Tyreek or Waddle does their thing and get open, and then sooner or later, a 300-pound lineman is slinging him like a sack of potatoes.
That's the thing I don't think he'll ever be able to shake. Can anybody off the top of your head just remember one throwaway? He's had some, but can you remember a throwaway?
No. He wants to hold the ball and make.
I remember one
of the season.
But he's trying to make the superstar play instead of making the smart choice, TD. But that's what hurts. That's these injuries.
It's ingrained in him. He just can't shake it.
He threw it to the ground after he came out for the first concussion. He threw one.
Intentional grounding, you mean?
It's in him. He feels like every play has to be made because he has no room for error, y'all. That's the problem. If Tua threw the ball,
he's overthinking it.
If Tua threw the ball away 3 to 5 times a game like he should, his numbers would actually go down. He takes chances, and lucky him, those chances have worked in his favor many times so far. But it always catches up. Law of large numbers.
TD, can I ask you a question? Have you
Law of large numbers.
Have you ever seen that famous video of his interview, his pre-draft interview, where he was saying how, and I don't think it was the game he was injured, but it was a game where he was pretty much holding on to the ball, and Nick Saban was on the sideline telling him to throw it away.
Yeah.
And he scrambled a bit more. The play ended up working, and he said we won the game. But he said when I got to the sideline and I got to the locker room, I'm over here celebrating with my teammates. And Saban is looking at me like, are you crazy? Why didn't you throw the ball away? I told you to throw the ball away. And he was like, well, Coach, we won. Like, Coach, what's the issue? But this is something he's had ingrained in him since high school, maybe.
Law of large numbers. It always catches up. And in college, where did it catch up? That hip injury. You can go win that game, but then you end up, look what happened. Eventually, it catches up. Bad habits catch up to you, and we all rave about the success that we find from them, but we want to overlook the downfalls that come with them as well. So let me ask you a question. Would you have rather Tua won that game? Or would you have rather him not have had that hip injury? If you had to choose one, win that game, the one where Saban, those are two different games, by the way, but the one that Saban yelled at him, lose the game or take the hip injury.
Oh yeah, no,
or stay healthy.
I would have definitely liked him to stay healthy.
Yeah. Exactly. So we praise him. He won the game anyway, but look at what it gets you on the back end with that type of behavior. Law of large numbers. I always tell y'all, it always catches up with guys. Tua, he was actually lucky he was hurt this year. I've been told y'all, law of large numbers going to catch up for him. Them 3 picks that he threw in that Green Bay game, it was a part of law of large numbers catching up. And luckily he avoided the Jets twice this year, because I'm telling y'all, those are probably going to be 2 games that would have gave him more of the same.
Somebody was said something on another broad. It might have been on here too. I don't remember, but because he's naturally a right-handed person.
Yeah.
So when he falls down, he's falling the wrong way because he's naturally right-handed.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know how to explain it like they did.
Yeah, it's your body. You're natural. What's natural versus what you trained yourself in that. Yeah, I know what you're saying.
So
Donald,
he gets hurt more
because you may have trained yourself to be a left-handed quarterback, but you ain't trained every sense of your lifestyle to be lefty.
Right.
I know what you're saying. Yeah. The way that your body moves, the way that everything, like there's so many different things that are determined off of what your dominant is. And if you trained yourself just to be able to throw opposite, that you didn't change yourself to be able to do certain other things opposite, which are natural flow of your body movement. But at the same token, like I said, these hits by Tua, every quarterback takes them. Every quarterback bangs their head on the back of the field several times. Tua just some can handle that type of impact better than others. It's that simple.
There was only one where I was like, damn, and that was I think it was Cincinnati.
Where
he got slammed.
And TD, this is why people are hesitant because of Tua. The teams in the top of the draft are very hesitant. They fear that might happen to what's his face, Bryce Young. No. They're hesitant to draft them in the top 10, apparently, because of the Tua thing. Like teams that are bad.
We got some more news. We got some more news, y'all.
I'm sorry, TD, go for it.
The Dallas Cowboys have placed the franchise tag on Tony Pollard. Dang, I wanted him.
Damn it.
Nah, that was announced last week. They said they were going to do that since last week.
Yeah, but I believe they've officially did it 6 minutes ago. They couldn't work out a long-term deal, so they placed the tag on him.
So and Zeke is going to take a pay cut. Grabs.
Nah, Zeke is taking a pay cut, he said.
Tony Pollard will make $10.09 million this year.
Did Saquon already get franchised?
No, yeah, but I think they say Saquon is expected to go back.
And look, let me tell y'all something about the Derek Carr trade. He's the best quarterback in his division now.
Yep.
You mean signing? It wasn't a trade.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, my bad. But he's the best quarterback in the division right now. The Falcons got Desmond Ridder and Logan Woodside. The Bucks got Kyle Trask, and the Panthers got Matt Carroll and Jacob Eason. He's the best quarterback in the division right now. You win a division, and depending on how well you do, you might even have a first-round bye. He did the smart thing.
Yeah,
he did the smart thing. You think he wanted to come play against Josh Allen twice a year and Lamar Jackson with us twice a year? No, I'm just playing.
TD, isn't Tua ambidextrous? He could play with his left or right hand.
Oh, I don't know because hey,
I thought he would.
No. Let me tell you why I wouldn't believe that. Because every time his body is turned awkwardly, he still throw it raggedy, like off, when he could just switch hands. You see what I mean?
Yes, but
there's only one person. There's only one person I haven't known that could do something with their left and right, and that was Larry Bird.
Mm-hmm. But that also goes to show that we need to go ahead and face it as fans. Tua is not the answer for this franchise. TD, I don't know if you've spoken about it yet or not, I wanted to hear what you thought about the judge ruling in favor of Brian Flores being able to bring his lawsuit up to court.
It's a
now
wrap.
choose.
It's a
Yes,
wrap. They finna offer the biggest settlement they can find because
I believe so as
they do
well.
not want a jury deciding what everybody already know. They don't want a
Yes.
jury deciding what everybody already knows. So Brian Flores got the biggest win of the week when a judge said he could take it to court.
Yes.
And that's what the NFL's been fighting, to not have a jury. They wanted an arbitration. They do not want a jury, but the judge agreed that he could have his to court. But there's 3 other things the judge said will be an arbitration, but it ain't the big class action. And that has to go to court. So they're going to be trying their best to offer a settlement, and I hope Brian Flores don't accept one.
Yes.
Go ahead and take it through the full process and let a jury of your peers decide, and we'll go from there.
Yes, sir. But
if it's a class, this is confusing. If it's a class action lawsuit, TD, shouldn't there be more people than just one person? Like I thought
There are. He's just one of the big names, so we use his as the
2
face of it.
coaches, 5 players.
Yeah, there's like 7 people total right now in the class action. So we just use Flores as the name of going to court when they all are going to have to go through the process.
Yes.
Okay.
They'll all
because
go
I
to
thought
court.
there used to be a big. I thought what's his face was on the lawsuit originally. The former coach of the Browns. What's his face?
Yeah, he was on there. And
but that's
Hugh Jackson.
why
Hugh Jackson.
Yeah, that's why it's a slam dunk, because Hugh Jackson is the one who say he actually took the money and was fine with it.
Yes.
So he actually took the money and was fine. And then on top of it, you got the president of the NFL Association saying that on record, we do have a problem with hiring minorities. That's already been established. They already got everything they need to say in front of a jury to win this.
Yes.
Period.
And now, so go back full circle to our team, our franchise. This is the reason it's got to start from the top and work its way out. It's not just Greer. And I understand Ross doing everything possible to try to bring a winner to South Florida, but he and Greer got to go. Now, with that being said, because Greer turned me off after this year, and SY, you are right. Yes, these women down here in San Antonio love churros, as Charles Barkley would say. But with that being said, the Dolphins now need to look ahead as to how they're going to try to make this franchise a better, more competitive team. We already know the Jets are. We know Buffalo is right now ruling the roost in the East, even though Miami was right there. And the Patriots, unfortunately, got that last win of the season against Miami, their last regular season win. They were 0-5 against us. Now they're 1-5. And so now you have just perpetuated our situation. The Dolphins now need to look ahead and see how are we going to get better. And unfortunately, it ain't with Tua. Get that out of your heads. Let that go. I've been a fan since 1969. I keep saying this. And so when I hear folks like Parks, Master at Works, talking about you never saw those Super Bowls, yes, I did. And in fact, I would love to correct them. And TD, you remind them of this. When Miami went to those Super Bowls, they went to 3 straight Super Bowls from 70 to 72. And they should have went in 74, but that lucky catch by my man from the Raiders in the end zone kept them from going. And we had one coach, 25 years. That's the thing that I'm sitting up here looking at all of this. It starts with leadership. We have had 12 head coaches in 15 years. That's ridiculous. We need to have not a tear down really of the roster. The roster is not as bad as many of us think, but we do need a trigger man. If we got somebody like Lamar Jackson, he helps to dispel a lot of problems with our offense. We don't need a perfect offensive line. We have the receivers. We just need to get a running back that will be comparable to him, get at least, to me, a right tackle. We can move or center and move Connor Williams back to guard and get a real center to whereas we can begin to take the ball if we're going to play with Tua for another year. So that way, because he's still under his contract, his rookie contract, I get that. But we need to try to really get Lamar Jackson. If we get Lamar Jackson and we begin to do some other things, and TD, I'm with you also when you talk about trading Christian Wilkins. I love Christian Wilkins, but this is the time now where you have to show not only your team, but your fan base that guess what? We're going to do whatever it takes to get this team to where not only the respectability, but the consistency of being a winner.
Donald, I have a question for you, actually. I have a question for you. I've asked everybody on this panel this question. I understand why we want Lamar because his athleticism extends the playbook, but a guy like Aaron Rodgers, would you be willing to trade those 2 first-round picks for Aaron, or you would stay away from Aaron yourself?
But
you don't have to trade for Aaron. Aaron is a free agent.
No, Aaron not a free agent. He's not a free agent.
Okay, but we don't have to sit up there and do all that for Aaron Rodgers. Aaron is good as gone in Green Bay. My son is a Green Bay Packers fan. He is tight with some of the folks that are there in Green Bay that got up very close to the situation. And I'm telling you, he's gone. So
I don't want an Aaron Rodgers though, because we're talking about a 2-year answer, and Lamar is your 10-year answer.
Exactly.
So Lamar would be our 10-year solution. And so
if we were to go after Aaron Rodgers, that is a bad admission with Tua. You go after Lamar Jackson, you know Tua, it doesn't look that bad. This is just what makes sense. But going after Aaron Rodgers, that just means you really did not want Tua at all anymore.
And Donald, you brought up the front office. This is what I'm saying. Like, if we fail to get Lamar, if we fail to get him, because in my head, I think he goes to Atlanta because the owner said he's willing to give him that contract because he wants the Michael Vick experience back in Atlanta himself. So
yeah, but Anthony, there's gonna be 10 teams gonna be willing to give Lamar his money.
Yes,
this isn't a they willing to. I mean, the Dolphins, if the Dolphins would, I mean, they were gonna do it with Deshaun Watson.
It would make the reason why I'm saying Atlanta makes more sense for him because Miami. People say the cap isn't real, but could we be realistic? The cap is real. You can work around it, but the NFL has a hard cap. Let's be real. Am I correct?
Yeah, but you can this situation with Lamar doesn't hurt the Dolphins at all. You can work that easily. You're not in that bad of a situation where you can't. If the Saints can go ahead and be in negative $50 million right now, and Carr's about to get good money too. If they can do it, the Dolphins certainly can.
Void years. We have void years with certain players.
Yeah, but we don't have a lot on the books yet. So if you're going to go down that road, we're early in it. We're not like the Cowboys and the Saints who got voidable years for players who've been gone for 3 years now. We're good. We'll just be entering into that realm.
And ask yourself, Anthony, who is more likely to be in a position to potentially go to a Super Bowl? The Saints, Atlanta, or Miami?
Thank you.
Based on
Miami.
The current roster.
That's the
Miami.
point. Everybody knows Lamar, and like you use with Tua, if he healthy, just like you say with Tua, Lamar in Miami, we instantly around all NFL platforms become one of the Super Bowl favorites instantly.
Yes.
You don't think we become that with Aaron?
No.
And even if you did, we already talked about, we're talking 2 years. If that, Aaron can come in and training camp and say, "Nah, I'm gonna retire" if he wanted.
Exactly.
Aaron's not a double threat either.
No, but he can use his legs. But my only thing about but I'm with you, Lance. But at the same time, with you getting a Lamar Jackson again, we've been sitting up here skirting around trying to get a franchise quarterback for decades. This is a time to address that issue to whereas
That's
you
what I
can
said.
really begin to address the other issues that are really on the board, such as us getting cornerbacks. You're talking about Byron and also X. Those guys are going to be out of here. We got to begin to replace what we have with competent, good players. And we can't do that if every year we're sitting up here addressing whether or not the QB position is valid enough for us to move on and begin to address those other areas. We need to get someone like a Lamar Jackson. We do.
How much do we get hit with X if we get rid of him?
Like 30 million. Like
Bro,
25, 30 million is a dead
gonna
cap
be here
this year.
Go look at his contract. He will be here this year.
Yeah.
Byron's gone. Byron's the one that's gone because if the rumors are true that we're one of the favorites to get Jalen Ramsey, Byron's gone.
Yeah, but Byron's situation, we can't spend that money until post June 1st.
Yes.
So that money,
I understand why people want Lamar, but for me, I want them. I know Aaron hasn't been to the Super Bowl in a while. The reason why I'm a big Aaron Rodgers fan, I like the way he plays the quarterback position. He's able to. I think Lamar is. I don't want to be negative on the kid, but do you guys feel he's in the NFL specifically? He's a system quarterback. A system quarterback.
Not at all. Not at all.
And that's the thing about Lamar. Lamar in his flexibility. That's the problem he's had.
Based on what you saw in Baltimore is what I'm saying. Based on the system.
Well, Anthony, I'll take it a step further and say Lamar hasn't even been unleashed yet.
He hasn't.
Imagine Lamar Jackson with a Tyreek and Waddle, something he never had. You don't know what kind of numbers this man may put up.
Former Ravens players have often said that Greg Roman's offense held them back. They hated running in Greg Roman's offense. They say it all the time. So imagine if you give Lamar, one, a QB-friendly offense, two, the fastest wide receiver duo probably in NFL history, right? You don't need the best O-line. But you match him with that, maybe bring Mostert back. There's not that many teams that can even keep up. It's going to be a track meet every single day, including the quarterback position. What are you going to do? Put your safeties high? No defense would do that. No,
you see what San Francisco?
You can try to spy him. That won't work either. Like
you see what San Francisco doing? You see what San Francisco doing when they offense on all cylinders? It would be that on steroids.
No, we'd probably put 30 plus a game.
No, I'm talking about when you see McCaffrey, Debo, and all of those guys running across the field all day and just, oh my gosh, it would be on steroids because now you got to worry about the quarterback too.
Exactly.
Yes. But
do you think Lamar, in your guys' honest opinion, that you guys are Lamar fans?
No,
I'm a Rodgers fan too.
I'm a Miami Dolphins fan.
I said this 2 years ago.
As a quarterback, just as an NFL fan, some of you guys are big Lamar fans. Do you think
I'm not even a Lamar guy?
You aren't?
I'm not even a Lamar guy. I'm not a fan of Lamar Jackson. I just know what he would do for this team. And I gotta respect that. I'm not a Tom Brady fan, but he the GOAT.
Yes.
I am not a Lamar guy. I done said this on this channel years ago. I'm not a Lamar guy, but I gotta respect what he's able to do.
Yeah, but back to Lamar specifically. Do you guys for his health? I understand you're taking away one of his talents, but for his health and longevity in the NFL, do you think him becoming a pocket passer would benefit him a little bit better?
One thing I'll say about that,
avoid the injuries that he's had.
I'll say this, and Mountie, I've had this conversation with Mountie. Lamar is a far better pocket passer than people give him credit for.
Yes.
Yeah,
right?
Something just came out recently that he was actually the number one pocket passer in the NFL at I forgot what percentage. He was actually number one 90% of the time that he was in the pocket.
The thing is, he runs an offense where Greg Roman has a lot of design runs. Greg Roman has a lot of wide receivers saying that they just don't like his offense. And you have to remember, they traded away his best left tackle. Orlando Brown is in the Chiefs right now. So whenever they snap the ball, Lamar is already running for his life. So when people bring up his health and the fact that they think, oh, he wouldn't be a great pocket passer, Lamar is actually pretty solid in the pocket. And when you look at his health, I think it was El Capitan on Defense Tailgate already broke that down. He broke down how for Lamar has only had sprains. Tua has had major surgeries, 4 major surgeries since college. So Lamar only gets ankle sprains, and most of that is due to the fact that Greg Roman forced him to be both their passing and their run game. I think Lamar's injuries come from being a workhorse in that offense. The fact that out of maybe 10 snaps, he's either pass for maybe 8 of them, he's either passing the ball or running the ball, and that just naturally caught up. Over here, he
Yeah,
wouldn't do that. He
yeah,
wouldn't
no,
have to be the workhorse of the offense.
yeah, Jason,
Yeah,
and
everybody,
you brought up
everybody,
something.
everybody, all these individuals that have been dog walking Lamar Jackson's ability.
I
Listen,
got it.
he's a much improved passer since he
I
came
I
in the
found
league.
I found it, guys. I'm about to put it on the screen. And this is
Yeah,
very interesting because the truth is, most people don't even pay attention to people like Lamar Jackson. They just talk about what they think because they see him running all the time.
they call him an athlete playing quarterback. The
Yeah.
traditional that, and they did that with what's his face? Michael. They did it with Michael Vick, also, didn't they? When Michael was in his prime, they were saying he was an athlete playing the quarterback position. Is that a normal trope for the 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 black quarterback in general, like throughout NFL history, that they're an athlete playing the quarterback position, not a quarterback that's an athlete?
I will say this, Anthony, to answer your question. If you go look at Daniel Jones's stats, he has the same amount of stats as Lamar Jackson,
So
but people are only calling one guy a running back.
So look at this. Lamar Jackson has thrown 88% of his passes from the pocket this season, which also shows you, by the way, he's not just running the ball outside and basically not choosing to basically throw the ball. He has completed 66% of those passes for 9 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. 9-2 touchdown interception ratio, completion percentage higher than 2 was in that area. He also tied with Christian McCaffrey for fourth in rushing yards with 243 to add on top of that. Not bad for a receiver. Now look at the next one. Most passing touchdowns from the pocket since 2019. 25, 24, 23, 22.
No, that was in the year 2019, and I
Okay.
think the only
Well,
person
that shows
that
you.
really matched up with him was Aaron Rodgers.
And that shows you the narrative is because he has a negative narrative because he uses his legs, and people think that that's what he is. But that offense is just
that's why I'm saying. That's what I'm asking, TD. In your honest opinion, do you think there's that trope with the African American quarterback in general in the NFL still, that they're the athlete playing the quarterback position, not the other way around? Not a quarterback that's an athlete.
I'm sure some general managers have that thought process, but if you're gonna go get a guy, then I don't believe you believe that. So I don't think Baltimore believes that, and I don't think those who want to pursue him believe that.
Okay. That's what I'm asking. Like the team that are pursuing him don't think that, but do you think in general in the NFL the general managers think that way about that?
No, I think that thought process is definitely phasing out of the NFL, but you're always going to have some people that have, the old standard of how they view a player in the NFL, but I think a lot of that is phasing out and not the actual case.
Okay, yeah, no, that's what I was asking, like, of the older football fans, guys like Donald, do you as a guy who's watched football a while, do you agree with TD that thought process is phasing out, or do you think there's still general managers? Is Donald still here?
No,
he left,
he
but
stepped off. But again, Anthony, like I said, and somebody makes a good point in the comment section, that narrative is being wiped away every year, more and more and more. At the end of the day, Patrick Mahomes just won a Super Bowl and has done so before and continues to go. So
and
narratives,
Jalen Hurts,
exactly.
Caleb
So
Williams.
these
So
narratives
that
are
thought process you think is going to start like becoming
They
an
have no
archaic way
choice.
of thinking?
It's adapt or die. They have no choice. Colleges are starting to cater more to mobile quarterbacks because, like I was just telling Mountie this the other day. Are you guys not watching D linemen? 300-pound D linemen are starting to run 4.6, 4.5 in the draft. So
What?
defenses are
So
advancing. The
what?
D linemen are getting faster. So you either have the perfect O line to block guys like Micah Parsons, or you have a quarterback who can actually is athletic enough to get away from Micah Parsons. You choose.
So
Do
are
you
you
want the guy
surprised
who's
that
going to
Nolan
stand in the
Smith run
pocket?
that fast, Jason?
You said
Were you
what?
surprised that Nolan Smith ran that fast?
No, because it's been happening for the past 2 to 3 years. Defensive players are more athletic. They're getting faster and
everybody's
they're
getting
getting smarter.
faster and stronger,
Everybody.
smarter, all of that. That's normal. Now, I wanted to switch gears. Somebody asked a question in the comment section. Basically, can someone tell me why the Ravens haven't signed Lamar Jackson yet? And I'll give my take. The Ravens, if they do re-sign Lamar Jackson, it will be giving him exactly what he wants because he knows that he can get what he wants out in the market. So therefore, they're doing their due diligence by waiting to the very last moment. First of all, seeing what's the best thing they can get. And if they can't get what they want, then they may re-sign him to every penny of what he wants. But the Ravens, I respect them because they have a fundamental belief that if we can't win with Lamar on a rookie deal, then what makes us think we're going to win with him on a big deal? The only flaw in their fundamental belief is the fact that they're the shortcoming. The way that they built around him is the shortcoming. I don't believe that it's him. I don't think that Lamar is the reason you're being held back from winning the Super Bowl, but instead, you saw the general manager talk about the receiver situation, which was totally disrespectful to every receiver that was currently there. But to talk about the situation, at the end of the day, you just keep getting it wrong. Or you're getting it to a point to where you're not good enough. You're not getting good enough around him. And my whole thing is, this is what's interesting to me is the fact that like people need to come to the realization, can you imagine Lamar Jackson with receivers? If everybody and their mama recognize it's the weapons around him, can you imagine with the Tyreek and Waddle? You don't have to worry about these deep balls being underthrown the way that they are. I mean, this is, oh my God, Madden on easy, it feels like it'll be.
TD, what people don't really point out is this. This same Ravens GM got rid of Mark Ingram when they were having those great running games with Lamar and Mark Ingram duo. He got rid of Orlando Brown. He got rid of the only guy he's really kept is Mark Andrews. So when we say that Lamar doesn't have weapons, that's an understatement. Even when he does get weapons, the Ravens get rid of him.
But they
And
never
they'll
have
do
a
this
full
on his rookie contract.
They never have a full complement
Can
of
you hear
them.
me?
Like they were getting rid of guys while on his rookie contract. So when people say, "Oh, how can you build a team around Lamar?" Well, you got rid of an All-Pro left tackle while on his rookie contract. You got rid of Mark Ingram while on his rookie contract. You got rid of Hollywood Brown and all these other offensive players while on his rookie contract. So they really, like you said, they've been shooting themselves in the foot. It's no one else's fault but theirs.
And someone said Ravens spent less money on the offense than in the NFL. Well, this is the problem with their fundamentals. When you got a Lamar Jackson, you can, because they spend all their money on defense. Everybody knows that every year, right? When you have a Lamar Jackson, you can kind of pull back from the defense and let him and give him more on the offense because it's going to make up for more. See, if you gave him the receivers, you might score another 5 points a game. If you kept it on the defense, they may save you 3 more points a game. You got to take the 5 points over getting saving the 3. That's a 2-point net.
But they're not pulling back though. They're completely abandoning offense.
Yeah, but they put all that money on the defense, though. They feel like fundamentally, if you can stop the other team from scoring, the Ravens always their philosophy is just be in every game. If you notice, a lot of their games are slugfest. It ain't often blowouts, right? It's always, they got a chance at the end or they're winning. That's what they fundamentally believe in. Just play defense. And even if we keep punting the ball, we're still in the game. But with Lamar, they showed it's a 7-point per game difference than Huntley. 7 points.
One thing about the Lamar thing, I think that I could see Lamar completely salivating over the possibility of playing with the weapons, Hill and Tyreek, but I could still see him
and coming
talking
home,
talking to Greer and be like, "Yo, what's up with Gesicki?" Because his whole career, his safety blanket has been his tight end, and I can see him wanting
who Lamar?
Injuries. Yeah, Lamar saying like,
yeah, but we can't say that's his safety blanket when that's all he's had.
Well, that's why I would never want to give that up. Not give it up, but I can see him going to a new team with, potentially Gesicki and being like, yo, I don't want to not have Gesicki. You know what I'm saying? I love what
it's still not enough though. At the end of the day, that ain't his security blanket if that's all they have. You know what I mean? Look at the Chiefs this year. Is Travis Kelce the security blanket? I
would say security blanket. I would say his what he's comfortable with.
Yeah, I mean, but that's all he has. That's the number one receiver, right?
Yeah, but I wouldn't want him to come here and be like, nah, yeah.
He would feel in heaven, bro. He would have even more. He would have more even if Gesicki wasn't here, but keeping Gesicki would be sweet. If you got Lamar and the rest of them guys. But I know what you mean. That would be just imagine Tyreek, Waddle, and Gesicki. Screw everybody else. I don't care about everybody else. Just those three and Waddle and Lamar Jackson. You can give me any one of them running backs. Resign Mostert, whoever. You can give me any of those guys. But you had, man.
One more thing, TD. One more thing, and this I've been wanting to say this a couple of streams, bro. That the heel slender from you is getting ridiculous. You like to use both.
The heel slander.
Yes, sir. You like
when
to
have I slandered Tyreek Hill?
I'm gonna tell you exactly what I think it was on the screen where it was Tyreek overpaid, and obviously, no, he's not overpaid. But you like to use both. You like to use both of the arguments against both people. Like you'll use the argument against Tua, 85% of his balls are underthrown, and then you'll go back and use the same argument against Hill. He has no touchdowns, and I'm like, bro, you just said he's not getting the ball. We know what Tyreek's strengths are. He's
I see what you're saying.
Go get it.
You see a contradiction in that. You use a contradiction in that to where
you use the Tua argument against a lot of players, and I'm like, yo, you either use it on one or other. Don't use it on
no. I think you're misled by my interpretation of it. Okay, let me try to break it down real briefly. Okay, you paid all that money for a guy who has very few touchdowns. But you also went and got a quarterback, and you knew that was going to be the limitation. You are put it like this.
Then don't
hold on.
Don't go ahead.
Did we maximize Tyreek?
Yeah, no, not at all. Not for Tyreek.
So you paid $30 million a year for somebody you weren't even going to maximize. You overpaid
for that. You 1 year. Yeah.
No, I mean for every year, because that's what he's gonna do with him.
No. Yeah, we underuse Tyreek for that. I mean Tyreek for that 1 year. That doesn't mean we're gonna ever underutilize him. We have him for what, 2 more years? For sure, 2 more years.
Yeah, I mean if you get a better quarterback who's not gonna leave. Yes. Yeah, if you get a better quarterback who ain't gonna leave meat on the bones, then yes, you'll be utilizing him properly. But at the same token, that's not what we're doing, are we?
No, okay. Yes.
So if you're not utilizing, are you getting your 30? Tyreek can do more, right?
No, the team could do more.
No, well, I guess what I'm saying is Tyreek got more in him. It's just he's not being allowed to use it, right?
Okay, that's different from what you said. Tyreek.
So you overpaid him. You paid Tyreek to give him the best production that you could possibly get out of him when you make him the highest paid player.
How about
and
we
you got a quarterback, and you got
we overplayed the
you overpaid Tyreek because you wouldn't even be able to use him.
We overpaid everybody. No, not everybody.
Okay. Let me ask you a question.
We overpaid Coach then. If Coach is not using him,
no. We ain't overpaying Mike McDaniel. He ain't making nothing. Listen. Let me ask you this. Let's take let's just hypothetically follow me on this, right?
I'm following.
Hypothetically, say that you made Teron Armstead your quarterback this year, and he can't throw the ball to save his life.
Yeah.
Right? Would you go pay Tyreek Hill $30 million?
No.
Would you pay him $1 million?
Yeah, of course.
Why wouldn't you pay him 30? He worth it.
No, okay. If I have a plan on next year, obviously I would take that.
No.
Tyreek was available. Tyreek was available.
Tua is the plan.
Year. So yes,
Tua is the plan.
No.
Tua is the plan, though.
Tua
but right now.
No,
right now, from what
Tyreek
they're saying to it,
that year, so I will pay him whatever. I will pay him $30 million. Go ahead.
I get it. But Tua is the plan for the future right now, right?
Yeah. For one more
and
year.
is he going to maximize Tyreek?
I didn't even think. No, he's not going to maximize Tyreek.
You're overpaid to get Tyreek. You overpaid him. You're not even going to be able to use the value. You're not even going to be able to use him at his best to get everything he's worth.
So
you're not going to be able
80% still ain't worth $30 million.
The problem, I think, no, it's not. You made him the highest pay. You made him the highest pay. You need 100% of what he could give you. That's the point.
Listen to
you
me.
see how you're settling for 80?
One more thing. No, one more
thing. Hey, hold on.
You said next year, Jefferson is going to be worth 33, 34. So
all right, watch this.
Best receiver.
No. Watch this.
Go ahead.
Give me a wide receiver that's 80% of Tyreek Hill.
Right now?
Yeah. Name a wide receiver that's 80% of Tyreek.
Cooper Kupp or somewhere around there. I don't know. Round about 9 or 10. 9 or 10.
9 or 10th best is about 80% of Tyreek.
Of course, yeah. And what he does best, yes.
Okay, how much Cooper Kupp make a year?
I have no idea. You tell me.
Whatever it is, then why didn't you go sign the 80% of him to be 100% and be him?
One because there was nobody available.
That's all I'm saying.
Wait.
No.
I got the answer.
No.
Let me speak. For one, there wasn't nobody available. Once, if you have the possibility of getting the best, don't you always get the best?
I get it. I agree with you.
Now or later. If Tyreek would have went on the market next year, how much you think he would have been worth? He would have been worth 34.
No, you're still. I think it's still been only producing the 80% because of the quarterback. See, here's the problem. Here's the problem here. Yeah. You're equating me saying Tyreek is overpaid with Tyreek. It has nothing to do with Tyreek. You're putting my verbiage of we overpaid Tyreek as if it's a knock on Tyreek. I'm not knocking Tyreek. I am knocking the Dolphins organization. You overpaid for production that you can only get 80% of.
TD, you know that kind of, well, I'll use this example. It's like we all have our grandparents, right? Mm-hmm. And we know they only use cell phones for taking pictures and calling people. You wouldn't necessarily get your grandparent the latest iPhone. You'd probably just get them a serviceable phone because you're like, I know if I go get my mom,
with the hope that they can use at 100%.
But the thing is, let's be honest.
But you never capped them.
You wouldn't do that.
Hey. Every conversation involving Tua will always include that word hope.
Yeah. That's it.
Hope. No. I'm just saying. I ain't saying you're a fan. I'm just saying it will bring hope into it.
Didn't we? With us getting Tyreek, didn't we end he's never had a receiver? We ended that conversation.
But you could have got any other receiver and said that.
We didn't. No, we couldn't have. No, we couldn't.
Yes, you could have. The problem is not the receiver. The problem is how he's utilized, which is why I used my example. Right? Like hold on. Let me just finish. You know your grandparents would use this iPhone the same way they'd use a flip phone. But you know, I'm not gonna get my grandma the latest iPhone 14 because there's features on there she'll never use. She's better off with just a flip phone that could take nice pictures and text and call. That's the difference.
So
it's
next
not
year
the
they gonna be
phone,
like,
it's
I
the
never
person
used
using it. That's what you don't
next year
get.
your
Hold
grandma
on.
gonna be like, I never used those features because you never gave them to me.
But your grandma never. But she
now
can't
your
use
grandma
it.
got an excuse.
You know what?
No, she
What you're
has an
saying is,
excuse for why she's
if
not
your
doing it.
grandma doesn't
You
even
never
know
gave
how
it
to
to me.
use those
All
features,
right.
what's the point of getting them?
All right, listen. Somebody said this. This was funny. Somebody said, I realized Tyreek was rightfully paid when we played the Chargers. That scoop up fumble for the touchdown was magical. I also realized Tyreek was overpaid when we played the Chargers and they shut him down for the whole game. And the only thing he could do is get a magical scoop. Did they not shut down Tyreek Hill? Hold on.
Yes, they did. But first of all, Sauce
So
shut
did
down
the
every
Niners.
single wide receiver. So you can't say
So
because
did
he
the
was shut down
Niners.
in one game. So you can't say he was shut down in one game. He was overpaid.
But they specifically schemed to shut him down and they succeeded. You see, this is the thing. What many of y'all don't realize, with some of the defenses we faced, many wide receivers could have done the same thing. In many of these defenses we face, running free across the middle, many wide receivers could have done the same thing. But you make your money and show your real value when we play the San Francisco 49ers and the Chargers. You can show your value because they game planned against you and they succeeded. They made you irrelevant.
Can I ask
You get two good safeties, he's done.
Can he run the entire tree?
I know who Tyreek.
I'm not excluding Tua. Can he run the entire tree?
Who Tyreek?
Tyreek.
Yeah, of course.
Exactly. Miami don't let him run the entire tree. Of course, you're hindering him.
You keep making it about Tyreek Hill.
Can run the entire tree. This is the NFL.
Again, my statement of overpaid. My statement of overpaid is simply the Miami Dolphins, because all I'm saying to you is there is an appropriate number. What if they would have gave him $40 million? Your argument says he's still not overpaid. If they would have gave him $50 million a year, your argument is telling me he's still not overpaid. At what point is it overpaid? You are the highest paid receiver in the NFL, but only utilized for 80% of what you can do. Sorry, your team overpaid for something that they couldn't even utilize fully. The team overpaid.
I see where you.
He's worth. He may be worth $30 million if he was with Mahomes.
Gesicki had almost as many touchdowns as he did,
and they didn't even believe he was worth it.
Is a red zone target.
I don't care how many yards. I don't care how many yards Tyreek had. It means nothing.
So tell me this. So tell me this. Why did the Chiefs not give him a deal and they had the money to do it?
Did they? I don't think they had the money.
They had the money. Actually, he was going to see. This is another reason. No, they had it.
He wanted to stay there.
This is another reason. This is another reason why he was overpaid. He was willing to accept Kansas City's $25 million a year. They just wouldn't give enough guaranteed. $25 million a year he was going to accept. And then he said in an interview, but Miami called with money you can't turn down. Anytime somebody say with money you can't turn down, they overpaying for you just to get you there.
I think we got to overpay until we don't have to overpay.
Yeah, but you're right.
Overpay until they don't have to overpay.
Who they overpaying? Who they overpaying?
Kansas City had to overpay until they don't have to overpay no more.
Who they overpaid?
Well, back
when they don't overpay nobody.
I'm talking about back with Alex Smith days before they were Kansas City, and this
they
happens
had
with every.
They had their books in order.
You gotta overpay. You gotta overpay until you don't overpay.
Bro,
we're overpaying Tua.
Bro, the man. At the end of the day, the man is
a long snapper. They don't get to get hit.
The man is overpaid until you go get a quarterback that will allow you to utilize every cent that you're giving him.
So Lamar, he's not overpaid.
Right now, absolutely not.
If we get Lamar, he's not overpaid.
Who, Tyreek?
Yes.
No, he wouldn't be overpaid. You know why? Them deep balls won't be underthrown, and Tyreek Hill will have 15 touchdowns and 1,800 yards probably.
Okay.
You see, you give me 18 touchdowns, you give me 15 touchdowns, anything over 1,500 yards, 30 million. Okay.
Yep. If I give you the opportunity to get those numbers.
that other 50, them additional 50 points. Oh, okay. But I'm sorry, you're overpaying if you can't utilize it.
I think it's not overpaying because he gives us the opportunities. If Tua miraculously stop underthrowing, he gives us the opportunity. I don't think
that's not going to happen.
I value that. I value the guy that has the opportunities to give us some numbers.
Tua is what you see is what you get.
I believe that too. But I'm saying the guy that gives us that opportunity is not overpaying.
Somebody said Tyreek never got 1,500 with Mahomes. He could have easily have gotten 1,500 if he had the same amount of targets.
How many touchdowns did he have?
No. Back up. Let me back up. Let me eat to this person's Jose. You know, Jose always giving it to me. But I'm sorry, Jose. Go look at yards per catch. This is the 6th highest in Tyreek's career, yards per catch. That tells you if Tyreek would have had the same amount of targets, 6 times he would have had more yards. He just didn't have as many targets because Kansas City didn't force feed Tyreek the ball. It's all about yards per catch, and this is Tyreek's 6th highest in his career, and that tells you all you need to know. The raw yards is only because we force-fed him more. They threw the ball to him more than they did in Kansas City. They didn't need to do that in Kansas City because they had Travis Kelce. We had Jalen Waddle, but we still force-fed him. Mahomes was still hitting the number 3 more often. Not us. We a 1-2 punch in Miami.
We had
1-2 all day. And look, somebody said in 2018 was 1,479 yards with 1 fewer game. And on top of that, go look at the touchdowns. Go look at the touchdown totals.
Touchdowns is what matters.
And also, the touchdowns, don't forget, some of those happened with Skyler and them and Teddy.
Oh, now
So I'm sorry. Listen, them underthrown deep balls are a problem. And you can't say, well, Tua missed 5 games, his numbers would have been higher. Did you not, man? What is wrong with you? Hold on.
8 underthrown.
Hold on. You can't say if Tua didn't miss games, it would have been higher because when Teddy Bridgewater played the Bengals for half of a game, Tyreek had 109 yards. He had 109 yards with Teddy. I didn't count Tua yards. I only counted Teddy yards, 109. That's more than Tua's average per game with Tyreek. Hold on, the Vikings game. Tyreek Hill had 166 yards with Teddy. Not Skyler, because he had another 30-something with Skyler in the first quarter. So you can't say if Tua would have played all those games he missed, it would have been higher. Tyreek was still eating regardless. He was eating regardless. So I'm sorry. The man had over 150 yards versus the Vikings. No Tua. The only games where we didn't have any productions were pretty much the Jets game with Skyler. That's about, and I'm talking about offensive production for the whole wide receiver core. No, y'all, listen, like I said, y'all got eyes just like I got eyes, and we all see Tua left a lot of touchdowns on the field just by underthrowing deep balls. Yeah, they were caught. Yay, good job. But those are 7 points. Sometimes we end up scoring anyway. Sometimes we kick the field goal. Sometimes we got a penalty afterwards and we end up punting the ball. Whatever it may have been, we left touchdowns on the table. There ain't no debating that. That is a fact. We all watched his deep balls, and 85% of them were underthrown.
It's also the reason why people overconflate his yak yards, because they say, oh, Tua doesn't have the privilege of yak like everyone else. And I'll keep telling them, well, if you watch how Tyreek and Waddle had to catch the ball, oftentimes they had to jump, they had to slow down, they had to turn around. Like,
you can't get yak if you got to wait. Defense closing, you wait, and then you go up, get it, and bang, bang.
But the
Tua
narrative
is
they use
taking
is,
judo, and Tyreek and Waddle should be taking gymnastics.
but the narrative they use is, oh, look at how low his yak is. That means he was just airing it out. And I'm like, no, that if you watch the games, there were times where they'd have to contort their body. The ball is behind them. They'd have to slow down or turn around completely to catch it. When if the ball is thrown correctly, there's about 10, 15 extra yards of field in front of them. So, people see what they want to see, essentially.
And no, Jose, it's not that he did yards with Tua in 1 year and Mahomes couldn't do it in 6. Mahomes never needed to. That's the point. Mahomes never needed to. But what Mahomes didn't do is always throw the ball short to him, so he is turned into touchdowns more often with Mahomes. Easily. Anybody in their right mind would take about 4 seasons that Tyreek had with Mahomes over this 1 season that Tyreek had with Tua when you put the touchdowns in there. You go look at every year's stats and you look at the touchdowns, you'll take 4 other seasons with Mahomes than this one. All them empty yards don't matter. All those empty yards don't matter. You forget with Tyreek, and let's get something straight. With Tyreek Hill, he had 309 yards with Tyreek Hill had 309 yards with what's his name? Teddy Bridgewater alone. He had over another 150 with Skyler. This man almost had 500 yards with them anyway. He had almost 500 yards with those guys anyway. So let's not make it seem like Tua the only one gave him those yards. This friendly offense, all of them can get him the ball. And he ate regardless. 309 yards is what Teddy threw the ball to Tyreek. 309.
Are you think Tyreek would rather take those other years over the year right now?
Of course he would, because he got in that end zone and got touchdowns.
I wouldn't think that. I think
he didn't break the record. He don't care. He didn't break the record.
It counts more. The yards counts more towards your Hall of Fame. What we say about Jerry Rice? We say his yards, not his touchdowns.
No, but when you perennially 12 to 1,500, it's not going to matter. Them touchdowns is what's going to get you over there.
I can't tell you how many touchdowns T.O.
But here's the deal.
Can't tell me how many touchdowns T.O. has.
Hold on.
Can't tell me how many touchdowns Jerry Rice has.
Well, I got to look it up.
But we know the yardage, though.
I don't remember the yardage. I don't know how much yardage they had.
More people would know the yardage than touchdowns.
Then how many yards does Jerry Rice have?
He's number 1 in yardage.
No, how many yards?
Oh, I don't know.
So that's why I'm saying I don't know.
But we don't know. We don't know how many touchdowns he has. I know he's number 1 in yardage.
What, Jerry Rice?
Yes. That's what I'm saying. It's more about the yardage than the touchdowns. For the franchise, it's more about touchdowns.
I don't think you can look at it that way.
Jerry Rice got in the Hall of Fame because of mostly because of his yardage, not because his touchdowns. I'm pretty sure his touchdowns are very high though.
Hold on, I got you.
And his number 1 claim to fame is I have the most yardage, not the most touchdowns.
No. Jerry Rice is actually number 1 in touchdowns all time.
But that's a new stat, though. That's a new stat that you.
Regardless, but still, he's number, and not he ain't just number 1. He number 1 by far. That's between him and running backs and everything. He got 208. No, but at the same token, I didn't know his yards either. I just know he was
number 1 in yardage, though.
Yeah, I knew he was number 1.
Exactly.
But I also in the back of my head, I also knew he was I thought he was number 1 in touchdowns. I just didn't know what the number was.
Who's number 2 in touchdowns?
Emmitt Smith with 175.
Would have never knew that.
Yeah, but you don't have to, but it's weighted when you look at the resumes at the end of the day.
Is it more than yardage?
Matter of fact, I would argue the touchdowns is what makes him the greatest anyway. It's one thing. It's one thing to have the yards, because everybody with the yards, they're going to be close. Oh, he got him by a few hundred, or he got him by 1,000. That's less than a season. What his separation in touchdowns, he has a separation of 3 seasons at minimum. 3-season lead. 208 versus Emmitt Smith 175. Emmitt Smith would have to be in his prime for 3 or 4 seasons to even catch him. That's the biggest separation in his stats. Not yards.
Let me
bro.
Let me try to frame it like this. You know how you always say PFF versus what is that other stat? Everybody like the quarterback stat.
A quarterback rating.
QBR.
Quarterback rating versus QBR versus PFF stats. Yardage is like an overall stat that tells you how good you was overall versus PFF is more specialized, and I would say it's more touchdowns. Everybody still goes for the quarterback rating.
Okay.
Even all the biggest stats is quarterbacks is how not touchdowns. It's more how many yards did they throw.
Yeah, but again, you can keep going down that road all you want, but at the same token, the eye test and everything matters, bro. Let me ask you a question. I want a bad quarterback. Y'all name a bad quarterback this year that started almost the whole year. Give me a bad quarterback. Just give me a bad quarterback.
Let's go.
I'm gonna make a simple point. A simple
Mills.
point.
Who's the Texans QB? Who's the Texans?
I was going Cleveland. I was going Cleveland Browns. I like him.
Well,
Jacoby
are you talking about Jacoby?
I like Jacoby.
Jacoby didn't play the whole year.
I'm talking about a bad. I'm talking about a bad quarterback. I'm talking about a bad quarterback this year.
Mills.
Let's go Zach Wilson.
Let's go Mills. Okay, I mean Zach Wilson. He's more close. Okay, if Zach Wilson had Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle, would he have had any more yards than he did?
Of course, yes.
This is why common sense, you can't just go off of raw yards because not everybody in this league has the same weapons or situation. You can't go off of raw yards.
He would have more touchdowns as well.
Exactly. That's all I'm saying to you is you can't go off of the raw yards and say that's what makes or break you. That's why the more variables you enter into the equation, the better you can see the picture.
I'm not saying touchdowns ain't. I'm saying touchdowns is lower on the total poem than yards.
If touchdowns are low on the total poll, they're to number 2, which is still very
lower. Yes, not
yeah,
low.
but yards would be number 1, touchdowns would be number 2.
That's
you're acting like it'd be number 10.
No. I'm acting like it would be number 2.
Yeah, but if it's number 2, it's still just as important. Some people could even say it's 1A, 1B for some people.
I don't see it being 1B.
Name me a wide receiver with low touchdown production that's in the Hall of Fame.
We're going low touchdown. That's I can't do that off the top of my head. Because one, we don't know. I don't know the touchdown.
Let's just say this. Oftentimes, if you have a lot of yards, there's a greater chance that you're scoring touchdowns too.
Okay. Now let's talk about that. The more yards you have, there's a greater chance that you're scoring touchdowns.
Yeah.
But Tyreek had one of his lowest touchdown outputs this year. Now, I can see if you got a team with a great running back and you always mossing people, getting them down there and they punching it in with the running back. That happens. That happens in some cases, but that ain't the Dolphins' case. I'll give that to Justin Jefferson, because they get down there all the time and then punch it in with Cook. And I don't know how many touchdowns Justin Jefferson has, but I'm sure it probably wasn't as high either, because in fantasy in one of my leagues, I dealt with that big time yardage, and then when they get down there, dang, Cook again. But that ain't that. Matter of fact, let me look it up. He probably got a low amount of touchdowns too, but at least he got an excuse. Jefferson.
He had eight
touchdowns. What excuse? What excuse?
He's 5'10".
What they got to do with separation?
Matter of fact,
Tyreek's separation makes him 7 foot. Tyreek's
When
separation
you
makes
have
him
a
7
quarterback,
foot.
when you have a Patrick Mahomes,
Yes,
yes, you do.
you do. And I get that. The quarterback held Tyreek back this year, but people don't see that. He had the most yards, more than he did with Mahomes. Stop. That was force feeding this man the ball. Force feeding him the ball. But like I said, I felt like you were going to overpay that man. You were overpaying this man if you were going to sit there and not be able to utilize his full strength. And I said that preseason. I said the thing about Tyreek, he's going to ball, but you're not going to get the max that you can out of him. Because when he fly down that field and he beat the defense, he ain't moonwalking for a touchdown. He fighting for the ball in the air. And he going to be athletic and come down with some, but he ain't moonwalking in the NFL. And y'all seen it all the time. These guys had their guys beat on those go routes, beat splitting the safeties. And rarely does Tua throw it deep in the middle and they're catching it in stride. We've seen a few, but you saw a lot where they had to stop, come back, and jump in the air and get it, and they should have been 6 points automatic. It's that simple. So I feel like it's an overpay when you're not even going to be able to use everything that he has to offer.
Yeah. And then you could look at Lamar throwing to Hollywood Brown, who I would think, is not even close to Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill. And they were just airing it out. There was a time when I don't know if you remember that Flores' first game versus Baltimore. And I know our defense was trash, but man, that duo was just airing it out. So imagine what Lamar could do with somebody on the a level of a Tyreek, somebody on the level of a Jalen Waddle. I would even say Hollywood is probably a wide receiver 3, and as overall talent on most people's offenses.
Bro,
and he had an MVP winning year with that guy.
For me, it's bigger than that. With Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill, Lamar Jackson gonna have 1,500 rushing yards. Because nobody talk about how he gonna stretch the field and have wide open lanes all day. How when those corners bail, trying to make sure Tyreek and Waddle don't catch it, and they just be blindly running backwards. They ain't even got their eyes on what's going on behind the line of scrimmage. This man don't have a 1,500-yard. I think he can have a 4,000-yard passing, 1,500-yard rushing season in Miami. And we can have one of the most explosive offenses ever.
What they don't mention is he did that in 2019. 2019, when he had Mark Ingram, he had 1,200. Mark Ingram had 1,018 yards. And he still threw what? Mark Andrews still had over 800 receiving yards, but he's shown you that if you get him, and Mark Ingram ain't really, a world beater. He hasn't been for a while, but you get him a serviceable running back, you get him 2 great wide receivers, and I feel like people have this fear that he'd become one-dimensional. They have this fear like, oh, Tyreek is wide open, I don't care, I'm just gonna get my 10 yards. That's not the type of guy he is. I feel like he's pass first, and then he looks off to his options, and then he runs.
Yes. And that's the type of quarterback you need. Not one that's just get the ball go. That's on their design runs. But somebody said pretty much stop. Lamar Jackson is overrated. Even if he was overrated, it's still higher rated than Tua.
Yeah.
Even if he was overrated, it's still higher than Tua.
One thing I think Donald was saying this before he left. You guys were talking about like this when we were talking about Tua and the type of hits, and I was saying when people bring up like the Bryce Youngs of the world, I said the only QBs that I've seen take hits that's Tua size are guys like Russell Wilson and Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts and Russell Wilson, we've seen them take some of the worst hits ever. They get absolutely destroyed by linebackers. I'm not talking about hits like at Buffalo where Tua threw the ball and old boy pushed them. I'm talking about hits like you saw in the Bengals game where defenders would get Jalen Hurts and Russell and pretty much just fling them around. But the difference is those guys, they're built for that type of punishment,
Yeah, they
and they
gotta
just
fall
spring
back.
right back up. You don't often see them just take a hit like that and then all of a sudden they look like it's a train wreck. They usually just bounce right back up. Going
And
back to your
plus,
point of
and
certain
plus, to
people can
back you
take
up
those
on that,
hits and certain people just aren't built for that.
to back you
And
up on that,
personally, I think even though Tua is, if you see the pictures with him and Russell Wilson, Tua is bigger than Russell Wilson, but Russell Wilson can take far more aggressive, violent hits than Tua, and just it's a genetic thing rather than a mental thing, I think.
nah, it like to back you up on that, bro. It's more of how much of it did they have to do in college. Like Tua did not have to do no running,
Nope.
scrambling, or nothing in college.
He didn't have to
So,
read defenses either. Nick Saban said it himself. He said,
right.
honestly, none of these kids know how to read defenses. They don't know how to call their protections.
So with that being said, you know how far behind Tua really is when it comes to that. You know, he should have stayed there last year in college.
My thing is this: he works out with a dude who is known for training players to get bigger, right?
Yeah,
That's who
but
Tua's
strength comes
trainer
from
is.
the heart. Strength comes from the heart. It don't matter how
But
much muscle you get. Everybody
that's what
knows
I'm
it comes
saying.
from the heart.
Like if you put on so much muscle in the off season and you still getting injured like that, then it comes from all right. Maybe it's just you not built to take the hits at this level. And let's be honest, anybody who's played football know there's certain guys who just their bodies can't take the violence,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. I
And
mean, you
Tua
can
has
see
been
it
in
in
a
their eyes. If
situation at
you ever
Bama.
play football on the field, you can see it in their eyes. You can just see how scared they are in
Yeah.
their eyes.
And I would say this, like he was in a situation at Bama where he had 5 stars blocking for him all day. So he, unless it was one of those situations where he held on to the ball forever, he really wasn't in danger as much. Now you come to the NFL where you basically facing guys who would have played at Bama, right? Those are the defensive guys that is coming at you real fast and tackling you, and it's a different level. It's you getting hit now. Like I feel like people don't understand that. Like the two QBs that was in the Super Bowl, they both was injured when they was playing in the Super Bowl. Patrick Mahomes had a high ankle sprain. Jalen Hurts was coming off of a shoulder injury. You gonna
How many
get
weeks
injured.
did
You gonna get hit. That's the number one and number two O line in the NFL, and both of their QBs had significant injuries, and they still had to play in the Super Bowl. So thinking Tua ain't gonna get injured is not smart at all. Taking that risk is not smart at all.
how many weeks did Hilbert play with some broken ribs?
What happened?
How many weeks did Hilbert play in a row with broken ribs?
I think it was 6 weeks.
Oh, yeah.
I think it was about 6 weeks.
Man, I didn't know this. Lamar Jackson had 3 games with 5 touchdowns passing. But I remember one of them. It was against Miami. They beat us 59-10 in 2019. I was at that game, and it was so depressing. I actually left in the fourth quarter walking out. It was so depressing.
Yeah, that was Flores' first game, ain't it?
Yeah, and then he trolled us and said, not bad for a running back.
Yeah. But I brought up earlier the Colts game. The Colts game, he had over 400 passing yards, three passing touchdowns, 80% completion. He holds the NFL record for best completion rating for 40 plus passes in a game. And people want to sit here and act like he can't hit the wide side of a barn.
It's just not true. The thing with Lamar Jackson and his accuracy that always came into question was the fact that there are throws where you're like, how could you oversell that like that? Like he has his little sporadic moments, but the overall game isn't an issue. Somebody said Fitzpatrick had a 6 touchdown game. He did.
Fitzpatrick was a journeyman. He got it done though.
Stephen D. Hey man, you okay, man? People were telling me we need to worry about your life.
Dude, I was out sick for a week, man. I did a show on Wednesday, but it was it was rough. But I came back this morning, man.
I told you to stop watching that Tua film, bro.
Dude, you see what had happened is no, dude, I was hurting. I went to the doctor and everything. They put me on antibiotics and I was tested for everything, but I'm like at 95%. So I'm back. Today was my last day taking antibiotics. But we had the show today, and then while I'm live, I see somebody else trying to get into my morning time slot. And I had to come up here and throw some heat and be like, what's up, TD? What's up, man?
I'm every slot, baby.
You're stepping on my time, brother. What's going on? There's only room for one person in this community. There's not room for 30 people. We don't need to have 15 different people out here. Huh?
Steven, I looked up and I said, Steven, not live. You snooze, you lose.
You lose. Okay. I'm just messing. I missed you, buddy. I just wanted to say hello. Because, every time I ask you to come on my show, I don't ever get a response, because
stop lying.
You don't like me no more. You hate Miami sports music.
Fresh off of being sick, and you stop lying to these people, Stephen D.
What are you real quick? What are you guys debating up here? I'll stay on for a couple more minutes, but I got to get out of here. But what are you guys talking about?
Breaking news: Buffalo in trade talks for Derrick Henry now.
I knew that was happening.
If that happened, we'd be in serious trouble.
I think it's going to. Here's what I do want to ask. Be real quick, just to get the conversation riled up a little bit. When it comes to salary cap, we were talking on my morning show this morning about paying the backup quarterback position. And last year, 14 starting quarterbacks in the NFL got hurt, right? And there were a handful of teams that went to third string. The salary cap increased this year. It'll increase next year. A couple of things. I think the backup quarterback salary is going to increase significantly this year. I think you're going to see some players. I have this theory about Garoppolo, where he could potentially come here on a 1-year deal of $15 million. Pro Football Focus has put it out there. A couple of other entities. I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm just saying
making more than a starter. God dog.
Look, man, do you agree with me that the backup quarterback position is going to start getting paid this year, more than usual because of everything, especially the numbers show and the injuries and everything?
No.
Well, and then
it's not going to increase because the thing that we're thinking about. We're talking about all of these mid-range quarterbacks that's going to be available, but you're still going to have a whole bunch of bum backups with the good quarterbacks that ain't going to get that money. See, that's only because you got all of these middle-of-the-road quarterbacks starting right now that teams are going to have to pay a little more for another starter, another low-end starter, just in case they get hurt or don't do well, and they still feel like they have a chance.
I mean, but and I'm just throwing names out here. We brought up obviously Jimmy Garoppolo, Baker Mayfield, Jameis Winston's probably going to get cut now out of New Orleans with them getting Derek Carr this morning. There's going to Tyler Heineke. There's going to be a handful of Gardner Minshew. There's going to be a handful of backup quarterbacks that can come in and spot start. And I personally think that, you look at the quarterback situation in Atlanta, you look at the quarterback situation in Tennessee, the Jets can't seem to get a quarterback right now, Carolina, Tampa Bay. Do you see a quarterback saying, hey, look, I know that I can go get, paid and be a starter at one of these crap teams, or I can go be a backup in Miami where I know Tua is going to get hurt and I have a chance to play with Tyreek? I think a player would say yes to that over being a starter in Carolina or the Jets.
So a player would do it, but a coach won't, like I proposed on your show.
Go ahead. Explain a little bit more.
Remember I said about Vic Fangio?
Mm-hmm.
I said if it doesn't work and the offense folds and they can end up firing him and Fangio the interim head coach. Remember that?
I don't believe it.
You said I don't think anybody goes around saying I'm going to take this just in case that don't work out. I could be promoted. Same thing with players. Quarterback. If they looking at the situation, looking at Tua and saying he may not be healthy, I might be able to steal the job like Tannehill did Mariota.
And that's why I think Garoppolo ends up in Miami, TD.
Yeah, that's fine. I get that. But it's also a shame that your backup is making more than your starter. And on top of it, I'm sorry, Jimmy G probably is better than Tua.
Probably he is. That's
so. I'm not going to get to who's better. I'm just saying if I have a backup or I can go out and get a quarterback. To me, Garoppolo makes the most sense right now for the Dolphins.
And Garoppolo
you get to keep Tua, you get to let him start, and the moment he goes down with an injury, because track records show that he does, you get Jimmy Garoppolo, who's been to 2 NFC Championship games and a Super Bowl.
Can Jimmy Garoppolo start on the team?
Yeah.
So what's this notion? Then he's going to be a starter next year on a team from day one.
Right.
Do you? So
he's not going to be a backup if he can go get a starting job.
But you just said that he could. That it's likely that he could say yes to that. I think Jimmy Garoppolo would rather be the backup.
He's not because he already
backup in Miami over being a starter in Carolina or New York.
No, you go get your starter job. You go get your starter job. You don't never take a backup. And then on top of it, you're going to do a 2-3 year deal with more guarantees. You don't take a backup role.
They the ace, they the boom cone. They feel like they the number one. Why would you come and take second fiddle to somebody else?
Exactly, and that's guaranteed money up front. Why would I take my chances sitting behind somebody for one, just in case they don't get hurt? Number two, even if they get hurt, who's to say I don't get hurt? I can go get real money and guarantee right now in Carolina.
Go look at Carolina. Would you? I'd rather play with Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle for 5 or 6 games. Throw up some crazy numbers. If Tua doesn't come back, I got a chance to make a deep playoff run.
Well, Steve, you do get players out there that's like, well, you know what? Carolina doesn't have nothing, so let me go over here and show my worth.
Stephen D, even if Carolina didn't have nothing, if he can go to Carolina right now and get an $80 million deal for 4 years and get $45 million guarantee, why am I gonna go play that game? I'm going at the guarantee, but he's going to be a starter somewhere else.
I'm not saying you're wrong. I don't think that we have a shot at Jimmy G. I'm just saying, look, there's multiple outlets that said he could take a 1 year, $15 million deal. I think he'll have 5 or 6 deals available to him, but I don't think it's out of this world to say that a player would rather play with a great team as a backup with the chance to start because the starter in this situation has an injury history, major one, over being a starting quarterback of a bad football team that's not going to win anything but 6 or 8 games next year.
Let me ask you this, Steven. How many guys you know want to come somewhere where they know they're going to have an unfair chance at starting?
Jimmy G will go start with the Jets before he come be a backup here.
Well, just so you know, the Jets can't get anybody to come play football for them right now.
Well, that ain't true. Just because Derek Carr went to the Saints, the Saints were the best option for him.
Carr chased the bag. Derek Carr chased the bag.
Who did?
Derek Carr. He chased the bag.
Derek Carr would have gotten paid a ridiculously higher amount with the Jets than he would have with the Saints.
No, he just realized it's smarter to win in the
because
NFC.
He didn't want to go to the Jets.
He just got a
franchise.
He just got a 4-year, $150 million contract, $100 million in total guarantees. He's getting paid.
He's getting the bag. You don't think the Jets would have matched that or gave him a lot more?
He pretty much getting $37 million per year.
The Jets would have easily given him $45 to $50 million. He said no.
The difference is
I feel like the Jets got more talent.
He went to the Saints because he's the best quarterback in that entire division now, and they'll win the division.
Correct.
It's a division full of rookies.
I agree with that statement. It's a better opportunity for Derek Carr for football reasons.
That's the only one that matters. He said it's not about the money.
Why is it crazy for me to think that Garoppolo wouldn't take the bag then and go to a better football situation in Miami?
Because Derek Carr already made money in this league. Tons. It's not about the money.
Gotten paid.
Jimmy G ain't close to what Derek Carr's gotten paid.
He got paid, but not big money.
Like I said, why wouldn't Jimmy G serve himself way better going to the Jets instead
financially? Yes, you're 100% correct. But
even as a team,
no, he wouldn't. The Dolphins are set up 10 times. No, he's not.
Steven, you can live in your delusion all you want,
but
bro.
Stephen D, why would you come to
TD, let me ask you a question. Minus Tua, is this a Super Bowl contending roster? Minus Tua?
Yeah, well, it depends on what quarterback. That's what's going to make or break this
I
team.
understand. Taking a quarterback out of the scenario for a second, okay?
Put Jimmy G in place. Put Jimmy G in Miami. They San Francisco with less. San Francisco defense was top. San Francisco's O-line is better than the O-line.
Be top with Fangio this year?
Hold on. Well, we don't know that. Let's see. But it doesn't matter. Even if they did become top, all they're doing is matching San Francisco. San Francisco better O-line. San Francisco better run game.
Okay. But to my point of what I'm asking
so look at that, Steven. Top defense already solidified. They ain't got to wait on Fangio to do it. They already there. Run game is phenomenal. Bringing their guy back from injury. The O-line is one of the best in the league when healthy, and they're still going to address that. Yeah,
so
the
you're
Jets.
saying that Garoppolo's success in the win-loss column, which I'll give you a certain extent, I've always said is a team stat, not a quarterback stat. I'll give you that. But he wins football games at the end of the day. He is a proven winner. He wins.
Garoppolo?
Yes.
Put you in position to win, yes. That's a difference.
Yeah,
Garoppolo never had the offensive weapons that he'll have in Miami on any team he's ever been on.
What are you talking about?
Can you guys hear me?
Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle. Hello.
Deebo Samuels, Ayuk, now Christian McCaffrey.
I'm telling you, when it comes down, I think our running back situation is going to be okay, no matter if it's Jess Wilson again, if they run the tape back with him.
But bro, Steven, you're missing run game alone with all these teams.
700 yards this year.
You're missing that. Run game alone, it doesn't even come close. These teams are more balanced. The run game alone knocks all of that out of the water.
But all right, but in my opinion, you just went to a totally different conversation. If Jimmy Garoppolo was the starter in Miami, are the Dolphins Super Bowl contenders?
Yeah.
I'll give us championship.
No.
We're not Super Bowl contenders with Jimmy.
No. You're less than him with San Francisco. What makes you think that roster in San Francisco, this roster is better than the one in San Francisco? The O-line alone.
I will say this.
Jimmy G
faced San Francisco.
Do you know how good their O-line is, Steven?
We're not talking San Fran, TD. We're talking the Dolphins.
But that's
on that guy for a reason, Steven.
Hold on. Exactly. That's the point that we're making. They couldn't do it with a better roster over there.
TD. San Francisco faced the Chiefs last year, and they got
whooped. Jimmy Garoppolo to Miami is probably one of the worst situations we could possibly be in.
Don't you ever
Steven, you lucky. Steven, you lucky. I thought
Jimmy G last year.
I thought somebody was paying for you to get out the show, but
you don't have that on your channel. You better stop it.
When you show up, it is. Tua is a limited QB in this offensive system. Jimmy G is more advanced than Tua in this offensive system. That's a fact. And the only reason it applies when you hear Steven, because you let somebody pay to block me off.
I did.
10 minutes.
Nobody is safe. All right. Nobody's safe.
Yeah, well, we just found that out.
Hey, TD, I got a question. TD, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Thank you for having me up, buddy, and shout out to everybody up here. But I just want to go to last season and the beginning of the off season. Do you remember when guys were telling us on their platform, on their streams, once we got Tyreek Hill, I don't know the stats, I don't know the numbers, I'm just doing eye test on this one, TD, by the way. But we were told by many professionals that have YouTubes and Twitters and all that, even MySpace, we were told that Tua is going to have a better career now, right? Despite, even though the numbers got better, but they said our running game was going to be super effective despite who was running the ball, because we were going to be facing the highest two high shell safety. Did we even face the highest two shell high safety, TD? Because not even with Hill and Waddle we got that, it seemed like.
Well, I
No,
know
because Tua's a pretender. We had no run game, and Tua is a pretender.
a lot of people try to do a lot of disguise coverage on us. Yeah, it's funny he said MySpace. That was hilarious. They disguise a lot of we got some too high, but not as much as you thought that we would get. We get single, we get quarters, we get several different looks. They tried to basically mix it up, but the problem is with teams, they played a lot of zone, which ultimately was there to their demise. And they didn't play it well until we ran into San Francisco, a team that just knows how to play it to perfection. And the Chargers just straight up manned up with security over the top. And they just bumped our guys off the spot. And I'm telling you, that Chargers game, people lied. They were like, McDaniel made no adjustments. I saw nothing but adjustments. They took away the middle. He would dial up the out routes. He just wouldn't throw the ball outside the numbers in that game. For some reason, he would not throw the ball out there, and they were open. They were available in that game. So every adjustment I seen, he wouldn't run the ball. Sorry, I read off every play-by-play. He still was running the ball, trying
just
to.
Just that game alone get you fired. Just that game alone.
That's what I was saying. Is I don't have the full numbers. I know for sure Mahomes was number one at that 2 shell high safety. He saw the most 2 double safeties. But where we stand on that, number-wise in the league, but Tua, even with the fastest wide receiver duel in the league, could not see the most dual high safety shell. And that's how bad Tua hurts our run game. Like, they don't fear the deep game, TD, and this is stressful to me. It's stressful as a fan, and I just want better.
Because it's home, yo. They know Tua is not gonna burn them.
Juju Smith-Schuster,
was not respected in
slow
the
receiver, and still Travis Kelce was his number one guy, a tight end. Seeing the most dual shell safeties with no running game that Mahomes had, nobody was scared of no McKinnon or the other guy Pacheco early on. But yet they could be more productive because the quarterback is just that great. Like, something has to give here in Miami. And being strong on top is just not the answer, man. And it's just knowing that we're going to go into the year, TD, again as the week 1 starter with Tua, it's just starting to be, like, upsetting to me, man. It really is. Prolonging, hurting, like, it's something else at this point. But I know what we have as a backup. I love that, but it's going to take a while until we see Skyler implode because now we have to wait until Tua fails us again. And I understand that, but again, that's my only hope entering this season, TD, is Skyler Thompson. Once he gets his shot, I got to be honest with you, that's what I'm looking forward to. And no matter, and like you named your stream, TD, the only thing that would scare me from the Jets is if they go out and get Aaron Rodgers. Lamar Jackson, I understand it. It's gonna be scary, but I'm not fully scared of the Jets with a Lamar Jackson over there. I'm not. I just probably fear Aaron Rodgers more on a 2-year window. That's to be real.
Steven still had a minute. I was just teasing him.
Why is it that when Pete comes on my show, he has horrible takes, and when he comes on your show, he's a regular fan over here?
It's flip floppers over there, man.
Oh, it's flip floppers. I got you. I understand.
That one, Steven. It's the same thing.
I love you, Pete. I love you, Pete. Hey, I just want to say, I love you. You're the man, brother. I would not be where I'm at without you. You are you and Dougley are the goats of the business here. And,
you hear that, Pete? He poured out his heart to you, Pete.
Hey, look, man. I love you. That's all I know.
Hey, don't stop. Don't go.
Oh, Lewis is up here. What's up, Lewis? No, I got stuff to do. I just did a 3-hour show on my channel, and then wanted to come and bother TD.
Hey, what's up, Lewis?
What's good, fellas? What's good?
I'm getting out of here. I love you, TD.
How's
the baby? How's the baby, real quick?
She's great, man. She over here hanging out right now with me.
Hey, you're a coach, huh? Flag football?
Yeah. I always coach my son's teams.
Yeah, so I just finished basketball season with my son, and now I'm about to do baseball with my daughter. My daughter didn't want to play softball. Oh, look at her. She's beautiful, man.
Yeah. Say hey.
Beautiful.
Handful. She teething right now, so she going through. She whining all day and stuff. So
I gotta be honest with y'all. Now
Hey,
that the Saints are signing
daughters are the
Derek
best,
Carr,
man.
I'm
Hey guys, I
truly
love y'all.
intrigued, fellas.
Hey,
How do you
come on
guys
my show,
feel
Kitty.
about
Love you,
Jameis
man.
Winston
all right, Steven.
possibly coming
Appreciate
to
y'all.
the Ravens in the quarterback competition room? Jameis Winston.
Oh my gosh, man.
No,
Man, James
no,
Winston. Hell nah, Pete.
He ain't
no. We
close
good
to
on
that.
that.
I like
No,
Jameis to compete with Skyler. It's not even a competition
no.
with Tua.
Oh
It's
my
actually
god.
more of a competition to Skyler.
He just trying to get
No.
somebody riled up with that one. Y'all leave that
Again,
alone.
how much is he gonna cost?
Don't buy into it, TD. Leave it alone.
From what I'm seeing, PD, when quarterbacks have an opportunity to go somewhere where they feel they can excel with the roster around them, I think Jameis Winston will be inclined to take in a cheaper deal than normal, right? Because of what we have on the table that he could work with.
Didn't
That's
Jameis
what
lose
I
his
believe. I
job
don't
to the
think
backup
quarterbacks are
QB
going
over
to
there?
come over here to Miami with the roster we have and
What
ask for
expense,
a
Pete?
huge bag.
I'm
That's
He
not
just
he
my
paying
lost
no
his
opinion
he
backup
lost
because
his
quarterback.
starting job
of
to the
what we
backup
have.
QB in the Saints.
I mean,
Andy
Jameis
Dalton.
doesn't make good decisions, though, bro.
Yeah, he was right.
I ain't
Jameis was
paying no
QB
backup.
3.
I don't care about none of that. I ain't paying no quarterback back up. We got to come to the realization Tua's up getting the extension. He'll be here for the next 8 years.
Jameis
Come
Winston
on,
had
Lewis.
8 years in this
Who?
league and never threw over 65% completion. Jameis Winston threw 4
He's a
touchdowns and
backup.
5 interceptions last year, worse than Teddy.
He lost his job to Tyson Hill, and Tyson
He
Hill
was
ain't even a
worse
real
than
quarterback.
Teddy last year.
I
They
told
last
y'all.
the coach gave up, but look at Jameis Winston's numbers under Sean Payton the year prior before he
Yeah,
got hurt.
I get that, but
Last
Sean
year was
Payton ain't here.
a
Sean
mirage.
Payton ain't in Miami.
And
Yeah.
Mike McDaniel ain't
Maybe
no
Jameis
McDaniel
will go
with
be a
Mike
Nick
backup
McDaniel
in
Saban.
the
is.
Broncos in Denver.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, I'd rather see Jameis to be probably see Jimmy
I ain't gonna lie
I
though, I did kind of want to see
Garoppolo.
Carr in this system. I did kind of want to see Carr. So to see Carr off the board, it's like we may as well run it back now, especially if we ain't trying to really give up no money or lose assets and
All I
whatnot.
would say is for the people who want Jimmy G had a better team with the 49ers. They faced the Chiefs and the Chiefs beat them by 20 points.
Well,
So
question for you
if
then.
you think he's gonna come to Miami and win against that with lesser weapons against that
Question,
Chiefs team,
in the
no
same
luck.
system.
And no luck.
question though. In the game this year against with Miami and the Niners, put Jimmy G there instead of
I
Tua. Do
said
y'all
back
think
out
we
because I
win?
could only hear you two. Here's I'm
I can't
American.
believe.
Yeah, go out and go back in. But yeah, in that 49ers game, absolutely. I would have taken Jimmy G all day.
So with that being said, TD, it's kind of like you gotta give like if Jimmy do come to this team, you gotta say at least championship at least because that game right there for the number one
Y'all
spot though.
tripping.
This ain't the NFC. This
49ers
is the
don't want Jimmy
AFC.
G. Why would we take
I
him,
know
man?
Jimmy G
We trying to
playing. I'm
do
just
better, not do sorry. What
yeah.
What I'm
wrong
But
with
I'm
saying is
y'all?
saying
What
if
y'all
we
faking
would have
about?
had Jimmy in that
people
Niners game, we
forget
would have
about
won
Joe
that
Burrow
game.
so
Do y'all
easily.
do y'all do y'all use y'all head when y'all think, bro? Or y'all just like to talk to hear yourself talk
This
on the internet.
this is why I don't even understand people wanting to continue with Tua because Jimmy G to
The
me is better
San
than Tua.
Francisco, exactly, but the San
He
Francisco
is
fans
better.
don't want Jimmy G. He's better than Tua, but San Fran don't want Jimmy G. Why would we go get somebody
They
they
don't
don't
want
want
Jimmy
if he
G because
can't
they
win
have
over
Matt
there?
Purdy because they
I
have
mean,
Brock
I don't
Purdy.
want Jimmy G. I was just saying for the sake of argument.
All I'm saying is this: y'all got to remember
They
this is
got
the
Brock Purdy. Why would they
AFC,
want Jimmy
not the
G?
NFC. We gon' Patrick Mahomes is just at the
Exactly.
top.
He
We
ain't
still
winning
got to
the
go through.
NFC.
We
The
still got to go
NFC
through
easier than the
Herbert. We still got
AFC.
to go through Burrow. We still got to go through old boy in the Jaguars looks like he's starting to get his footing. There's a
Trevor
lot of
Lawrence.
better QBs that we got to go through.
Yeah,
Mm.
Trevor. Yeah.
TD, do
Yeah,
you
like
think
this
there is
isn't the
any chance
NFC.
Miami trades Tua to
Yep, that's
Tampa and
true.
goes after Lamar afterwards? I'm a 50-50 shot right now. Miami is waiting on Baltimore. I don't know if it'll be Tampa, but I think that Chris Greer is waiting to see what this tag situation is. You got to put your name in your name in the hat. You
I
have
was gonna
to.
say Carolina.
So TD, could you break down what happens with both situations? Could you break down if it's the both tag situations. Can you break down what would happen with each?
Non-exclusive is what happens with the exclusive means that the Ravens are basically he's a Raven pretty much. That's the franchise tag. Non-exclusive is the issue though, where Lamar is allowed to negotiate a contract with other teams.
Yeah.
And if he signs an offer sheet, they have to give up 2 first-round picks in order to acquire him. But the Baltimore will have an option to match whatever deal he signs.
Okay.
Exactly.
So what do you think Greer would do with both situations, or do you think he just
if they do that non-exclusive tag,
offer that contract.
Chris Greer better call Lamar Jackson and tell him we want you to be a Dolphin.
That's a fact.
If you're down with that, let's talk about how much that'll cost. And if they reach an agreement, then Greer will tell Lamar, give me 2 days. I need to trade somebody and get a first this year. And we coming after you. It's that simple.
But what if it's an exclusive tag?
But it's not gonna. It won't be Tua at that point. TD. It would be Christian Wilkins.
No. See, we got options. Lewis, y'all naming all these people. You're right. The problem, the good thing is we got tons of options.
Yeah.
First of all, you want to contact whoever drafted in number 32, 31, 30, 29, 28, all the way to about 24. I'm only going to contact those teams because you're giving up less, right? Than trying to get you don't have to have a high first round pick. The requirement for the NFL is 2 first round picks, whatever picks you have. So then I'm calling one of those later round teams and I'm saying, hey, I got a second this year and a second next year. Let me get your late first, Kansas City.
Yeah, that's
if that still ain't enough for you, I'll give you a fourth and add on whatever. You could just give away two seconds and move in the first round for a late pick team.
So if they tag them exclusively, that's it. That you don't think we'll try to?
Well, there's still options if they tag them. If they tag them, then they can trade them, which they'll get a lot more for. They can get a lot more if they trade him, and that's where I think that. That's why if they do non-exclusive, we better go after it. If they don't do non-exclusive, then they'll probably try to trade him because he's not going to play on that tag. I don't think.
Hell no.
Well, the only reason I was saying Wilkins though, because we know Wilkins can go get
that
you the
too
first
though
this year. And the reason if you were going to go get Lamar, knowing the bag that Lamar is going to be asking for, you're not going to be able to pay both of them. That's why you just move off of Christian Wilkins. Because if you're bringing in Lamar, you're definitely not giving Christian Wilkins the bag.
So if Lamar gets tagged, then Christian Wilkins is most likely a Raven.
But you're right. That might be a good look. Yeah. Well, that might be a good look because getting something for Christian is also going to save you that 18 to 20 million he probably going to get paid too.
Absolutely, TD. That's why
that'll help
Wilkins.
And that'll help in Lamar's contract and make it real easy.
Absolutely. See, that's where I'm at.
And we'll still have a top-ranked defensive tackle in Zyler.
You can bring back Zyler on a cheaper deal. Absolutely. And get the same production. So that's why for me it would be Christian Wilkins. If you're making the move for Lamar, definitely Christian Wilkins has to be not part of the package for the Ravens, but he has to be in a trade to get that first round pick this year.
And guess what? You give Lamar Jackson a small cap number this year. And then when Ogba money come off the books next year,
1,000%.
That's Ogba and Christian Wilkins money alone almost pays for all of Lamar.
For Lamar,
they do go down. Turn around and call Camp if they want to.
What's that?
Every part is.
As far as I care, Tua, even if we would want to trade Tua, but if we don't trade him, he's now our backup.
He not staying for that.
Hey, that's his business, but he only making $9 million. I don't care. They already guaranteed his money. You got to pay it anyway. No other team can pay it. You gave him a fully guaranteed rookie contract, so he's a backup. If he don't want to stay on it, he ain't got to play. We just won't pay him.
He should be a backup quarterback anyway. He got brain damage.
If you can get a draft pick for him, wouldn't you do that?
Yeah, if you could get a good draft pick. I don't care. I don't care about a fifth. If I feel like I can get a second for you, then I'm gonna have you on the contract. And if you don't want to play, hold on, somebody got background noise. Yeah, that's Bones, I think.
Trade Tua and Walter Houston for that number 2 pick.
Admit to everybody, there is a 0% chance that he comes to Miami. I hear what I'm telling you. It's not anything, but it's Lamar Jackson coming to Miami. What I was told is not happening. 0%.
I can't hear you, Pete. You breaking in and out, bro.
Yeah, I can't hear.
Lamar Jackson to Miami is a fun conversation to have. And I promise you, there's a 0% chance it happens. He is not coming to Miami.
Yeah, Pete. Okay, then it won't happen. But at the same token, as Dolphin fans, we're gonna discuss it because we know what's best for the team, and if they continue to neglect what's best, we got to keep that basically a chronology of it. Just knowing year after year they spit in our face.
No, I agree.
Absolutely. And I hate this
narrative. Me though, TD, is because in my opinion, I got to be honest with you. I don't even think Tua can dance better than Lamar Jackson. And I just find it hard sometimes to even try to even decide to debate a Tua near at this point when they're out here trying to tell me that Tua is a better passer. Tua is more accurate. And in fact, no, he's not. There's nothing on a football field.
It's not that, Pete. It's not that, Pete. It's not that. Look, I try to break it down.
Those same out routes,
so they can understand. So they can understand, though. Real quick, gentlemen, real quick. Just let me get the floor for a second. This is the way you do it right here. You break it down. Because for the Tua-neers, right? The Tua-neers will tell you about Lamar Jackson. Well, he's injury prone just like Tua. Okay, so they both have a check mark. Bam. Let's say Tua is the better passer, right?
No, Lewis. No, I'm sorry. Wait.
I'm not gonna just say that, Lewis. If you want to, yeah.
You can't say they got the same. It's two different types of
Hey, let them cook. Let them cook. Let them use the hypotheticals. Go ahead, Lou.
More dynamic player, right? The more dynamic player is one Lamar Jackson. That's why everything barring equal, that's why you make the move for Lamar Jackson. You see what I'm saying? Bro, it's simple. Yeah, I think you can win with Tua. I think you can get to a Super Bowl with Lamar. But everything being equal, right? Breaking it down player for player, Lamar is just a more dynamic player. And again, if you telling me he goes on an exclusive tag, all you give up is, let's say, Christian Wilkins and those 2 first-round picks. Bro, you put Lamar with Coach McDaniel, with Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle, this offense, bro, this is something the NFL has never seen in the history of the NFL. I'm sorry. It's crazy.
I agree with that, Lewis. I mean,
I agree with you too, Lewis, but one thing for sure, and we got to look at it. We got to look at this. One thing for sure, bro. One thing for sure. The injuries are totally different, bro. Tua got injuries where he had to get surgery. He had concussions. And then Lamar, he just gets simple ankle sprains, nothing broke or none of that. It's different injuries, bro. They keep trying to compare injuries like you can compare that. You can't compare that. Once you get surgery, exactly. And can we all? I've been trying to say this all morning on everybody's shows, bro, because they keep trying to say Tua this, Tua that, bro. Everybody keep acting like them last 4 games didn't happen, bro. Like he played like that. Every year he done played them last 4 games, but every year he played like that, bro. It's not like he's winning 9, 10 games back to back, bro. He ain't never did that. Man, win 2 games, lose 2. Win 3, lose 3. The year before that, we won 7, lost 7. Like, come on, bro. The man ain't all that how they be making them to be, bro. The man,
they act like them last 4 games didn't happen. Then they say, yeah, but he was hurt. Where was he hurt in San Francisco? Where was he hurt versus the Chargers? And I keep proving to y'all he wasn't hurt in no Green Bay, man.
TD, the same thing, TD, bro. Like you said, the 49er games, he wasn't hurt. If the Steelers would have picked off all 3 of them picks they dropped, it would have been the same type of game. We would have lost to the Steelers. Man, they lost. Man, everybody. man throw at least 3 picks a game. They just be dropping them, bro. And
The
they keep saying the
Bengals should
man
have
was so
had 3 in the
accurate.
first half before he got hurt.
Waddle and Tariq Hill been jumping for passes all year long, slowing down for him all year. Like, and they keep saying he the most
Yep.
accurate, which I hate. The man ain't
Yep.
accurate for nothing
Oh
in the
my
world, if
God.
you ask me. As a
Imagine
left-handed
Lamar on this
quarterback,
team,
he
man. It's
has the weakest
crazy.
left
It's
hand I
crazy.
ever seen in my life.
It's
Like,
crazy
I'm
because
not saying Tua can't play. I'm not
he was
saying he can't play. He just ain't no
more. Go ahead,
he
my
ain't no
fault.
first string quarterback. He deserved to be backup behind Lamar, bro. If you ask me,
Exactly. Exactly.
But he was
We
and
don't
more.
know
But he
what
was
with
Jalen
his
Hurts has
brain
more value than
with his
Tua.
brain damage, he deserved to be a backup quarterback now. Period.
Mm.
I tell
I'm
you
done.
guys
I just
right
had to
now, the
speak my
scariest
piece,
thing
brother.
about being a Dolphin, if you have doubts on Tua, just understand that Christopher Greer actually believes in Tua. Christopher Greer actually thinks that Tua is a very good quarterback.
He did
Christopher
two of
Greer
this year.
actually
We
thinks
thought
that
we was
Tua
gonna
is an
win.
elite quarterback. The only
That's what
question
he's gonna
mark
say.
that
That
the
was
GM has
exactly.
on
That's
our
what.
bro.
quarterbacks
We're known for
is
lying in your face, bro.
durability. And that's one of the biggest factors that I don't even look at with Tua. My biggest concern with Tua is actually his performances.
Hey,
His
I bet you agree,
performances are
bro.
questionable. And then comes durability. That's how you pay a
Yep.
player. And they're going to try to go out and pay this guy, right? Over 3 or 4 big non-divisional games this season. Seriously? When you didn't have no performances like that. Like, can you trust Tua moving forward to have a huge performance if Tyreek Hill gets a concussion and misses 2 games? What if Waddle is out? Can we trust Tua to carry this offense moving forward with Waddle and Hill missing and no
Heck
Mike
P,
no.
Gesicki?
We done
Heck
seen it
no.
this
P,
year. We
ask
just want to
yourself
see
that.
some games.
Ask yourself this question:
Heck
what game
no.
has he actually carried us in since he started playing with us? What game has he actually
None of them.
carried us
Zero.
in?
Zero.
Hold on. I got
Exactly.
one.
So why
Zero.
everybody so high up on this man if he never even carried us through a game?
The Ravens game. He put us on the back. The Ravens
He
game,
ain't
man.
carry nothing. He ain't carry nothing. Them wide receivers was
The
burning them
Raven game.
cornerbacks. Man, get out of here. If
Hey,
they wide open, he better hit
Baltimore
them.
lost that
If they
game.
wide open, he better hit them.
Baltimore lost that
he
I
game.
put
will
us
say
on his
Y'all
back.
crazy, man.
I
Stop
will
saying
say
he
this
did
though.
something. He ain't did
I
nothing.
will say this though.
That defense went to
Lamar
slacking.
had 5 touchdowns in that game.
Chris Greer looks like a
Exactly.
hypocrite when he says that he
Exactly.
wants to
Thank you.
bring in a
Baltimore's
premium
defense
backup,
slacked.
while at the same
Baltimore's
time
defense lost that
he's
game.
saying that he has faith in Tua. None of that makes sense. If you have so much faith in Tua, why are you gonna go get an expensive backup to come in if you just assume, hey, oh yeah, the injuries,
Thank you.
we have questions about the injuries? Well, answer that question and
Y'all
realize
know
what
they
most
ain't gonna
teams
answer
do
Thank
those
you.
when you have
questions,
an
bro.
injury
If
prone
you have
season,
faith
you
in
Greer
move
too
Tua,
on.
scared to speak
That's
on
what
what
the
he
if
Eagles
you
think.
have
did.
faith in Tua, why don't you just give him the contract extension right now? If you
I
have faith
think
in
Greer
Tua, why
scared
haven't the rumors
to
come out that
speak
we're
on what he
slapping the fifth
think.
year option on him?
That
Oh, without a
that's
doubt,
what
we're
the
slapping the
Eagles
fifth year
did.
option on him.
Carson Wentz had an
You ain't got
injury
no faith in
history.
Tua.
They want to move on. The 49ers, Jimmy G, all Jimmy G done for them has an injury history. They want to move on.
And what
This is
he
why
did for
earlier when
them?
I told TD,
Jimmy
this is
G
why
ain't
earlier
carried
when
the
I told
49ers
TD
through
is the
no games
GM.
neither. What is you talking about?
But you're not listening to what I'm saying. I'm saying that when these QBs show that they have a history of injuries, the smart GMs say I'm gonna move
They
on.
move off
Howie
him.
Roseman said I'm gonna move
Yep.
on. John Lynch said I'm gonna move on. Those are the teams that we want to be like. But Chris Greer is over here sitting on his hands talking about, oh, I want to keep him, but injuries. No,
Hey,
the smart
I
GM
got a
say
hot
I'm not even
take,
gonna take
boys.
Ain't
that
for
risk.
Tua.
I'm gonna go
I
get
got
me
a
a
hot.
solid QB.
I got a hot
I
take.
agree
Period.
with that, brother.
We should have
I
Period.
moved
agree with that
So the fact
100%.
that Chris Greer keep playing in our face, talking about, oh, I don't know, I don't this, that, and the third. Well, that's what differentiates you from the great GMs. That's why you keep trying to get one playoff win while them dudes is going
Yep.
to the AFC and NFC
And the Dolphins
championships,
gonna
and
be a
some of them going to
pretender
the Super
until they
Bowl.
make a
But
change. The
but
Dolphins gonna be a
but
pretender
but
until they make a
one thing
change.
about Greer, one thing about Greer that I always kept in my head, he said this, I think it was before he drafted Tua or after he drafted Tua. He said, I might draft a quarterback every like 2-3 years in a row. Who knows?
And that was
I
Cap.
remember him saying that.
That was Cap.
And that was
Why
Cap.
is Cap?
Because the only
We got a
quarterback we
quarterback
drafted
last
since
year.
then was Skyler.
Yeah,
Okay
but
then.
Mike picked him
So
though.
that was Cap. And I'm pretty sure Mike McDaniel forced him to draft Skyler.
Probably wouldn't have did it.
Exactly.
Y'all, Skyler ain't too much of a bad player if
I
y'all
ain't
look
saying
at
what
it.
he is, bro.
Everybody call the man trash, but I don't think the man
But
trash.
that's not the point we making.
I'm
The
just
point we
saying,
saying
Mike
is if Chris
McDaniel
Greer
couldn't
was
Nah,
stop
Skylar
him.
not trash. Skylar not trash.
I know what you're
if Chris
saying,
Greer
brother.
if that was true, Chris Greer would have drafted a QB 2 years ago, maybe. But he didn't. It's been 3 years since Tua's been here, and Skyler the only QB we've drafted since then.
Right.
Everybody else been veterans on the end of their career.
Because they was trying to
Jacoby,
go chase other
Fitzpatrick,
Because we've
quarterbacks,
had to
Penn.
remember?
always be all in on Tua. We've had to always be all in on
Because
Tua.
behind the scenes, they was chasing other
The team has
quarterbacks,
to always
remember?
be all in on Tua. Of course, they weren't going to draft a guy.
You want to know how that's capped?
So that's the thing that really
They
cracks
have
me up.
chased
Behind the
other
scenes, they're
veteran
chasing quarterbacks, but they're
quarterbacks,
not
but
even
not
trying to
drafting
draft
quarterbacks.
one in maybe the third round or something to bring in. Why don't you kill two birds with one stone? Why don't you try to get a veteran and try
Nah,
to see if you could build a rookie at the same time?
How many
because
quarterbacks
that
have
would have
we
been too
drafted?
much media stuff. That would have been too much media over Tua's back. They're not going to do that. They're not going to do that.
Or
It's either
Chris
Tua
Greer
or
ain't
they
one of
move
the
off
real
from Tua.
GMs that would have
See,
been smart. This is the
yeah,
Miami Dolphins.
no,
This ain't
and
the
what you're
Miami
saying is,
Tuas.
and Walt,
They're
what
not
you're
going to do that
saying,
for Tua, bro.
yeah,
I'm
no,
Yeah,
listening.
but
I'm
no,
this
listening.
ain't Tua's. Tua don't even own a stake in this team. This is the Miami Dolphins. Who is Chris Greer the GM of? Like people keep
the
saying
Dolphins.
he's not gonna do
See,
Of
that
the
for
see,
Miami
this
Tua.
is
Dolphins.
But this is
that's
a
why
what have
he's
But
you
it's
done
not.
for me
clear, though.
lately
That's what they
league.
do, though.
Yeah, no,
Nah, man.
and Walt, this is what scares me. What you're saying is that they're more worried about what the fan base is, how the fan base is going to react, instead of doing the
media, everybody.
Greer and Ross are businessmen.
That's why Tua starting in the first place, because everybody
Exactly.
wanted Tua to play. That's why he's starting in the first
Exactly.
place.
Tank for Tua.
this is
Tank
a
for
He
Tua.
never,
bullshit
Why?
organization, then,
he
dude.
never
Why we tank
earned
for
shit. I'm
Tua?
sorry, TD, my bad, but he never earned anything, man. They
This is
just gave him
BS.
the job.
Yeah,
I
no,
ain't want him
Prashant,
starting over
He hasn't.
this
Fitzpatrick
is
So
because
why. This
Fitzpatrick
is
was
why.
balling.
so
Tua
just
Yeah,
giving a
Prashant,
quick
this
is
is
college.
why.
giving a quick news break real quick if y'all don't mind, just giving a quick news break. Well, Pete donated, said Daryl Bevel, old Greer take Skyler, but giving y'all a news break, man. They're reporting that several teams are trying to move everything they can and acquire assets to move up with the Bears to get that number 1 overall pick.
For
They
CJ
said,
Stroud.
yeah, I don't know who it's for, but they say
CJ,
at least four teams are fighting to put packages together to get to number 1
of
overall, man.
course.
Yeah,
Of
it's a lot of
course,
good
man.
QB. Will
There's
Levis is
4
solid.
quarterbacks
CJ
available. There's
Stroud.
literally 4 strong quarterbacks available. 4 strong quarterbacks. The Dolphins
Four
should be handling
strong.
that.
Who's
One
the
of these
fourth?
4 guys. What are you talking
Who's the
about?
fourth?
Levi's, Anthony Richardson, Bryce Young, and CJ Stroud.
People
They're all
say Anthony
4
Richardson
starting
is just going to be
quarterbacks.
another. Well, people say Anthony Richardson is going to be just another Jamarcus Russell.
Yeah, well, maybe
And
not.
then guess what? They don't know football.
Y'all gotta
And guess
quit
what? They don't know
going, man.
football.
People saying
Because you
Tua
could
was
have said
gonna
the
be the
same thing
greatest
about
of
Patrick
all time.
Mahomes.
Look at him.
The same thing could have been said about Patrick Mahomes.
Right.
No,
People gonna
no,
say,
The
and for
same
me,
thing
I
could have
wouldn't
been
say
said
all of
about Patrick Mahomes.
that. I see where y'all are
and
getting at.
yeah, no, and for me, this is why
And
I
Anthony
want to see what
Richardson has
happens.
all the
If
tools.
Greer can't pull this trade off for Lamar, he's gone.
Lamar.
Then promote the guy who came from Kansas City. The guy was in a champion. I understand he was working under the current GM. What's the GM in Kansas City again? Damn it. Do you know what I'm talking about, TD?
Dang. No, I don't. But real quick, my bad, bro. The general manager for the Bears, he out here talking. He said, no one's gonna rush me. I know I can get a 2024
Nobody.
1
Bro,
and
that boy finna get a
2025
bag,
1.
bro. He finna
He
get
said,
a
I
bag
know.
for that pick,
Hold on.
man.
He said, I know I can get a 24 1 and a 25 1. You're telling me for the next 2 years I'll have 2 1s? That's either really good players, or if we're cruising, we can still trade back on those. So they're trying to do what we did, but he might be talking to Chris Greer. Hey, Greer, give me that 24 and 25.
For who?
No, I don't think so. The
I don't
Dolphins
know.
don't got enough. The
Would
Dolphins
y'all
don't got
take
enough.
CJ Stroud?
Heck yeah.
CJ
Are you crazy?
I
Stroud
would
is a
take Will
solid
Levis.
QB.
I will take Will
You're
Levis.
crazy.
Nah,
I'll
CJ
take
Stroud is a very solid
Bro,
QB.
Tua is nothing compared to these four quarterbacks
Stroud a
right here,
beast.
fam.
No,
Stroud is a beast, boy.
and do you guys think it's unfair what they're doing to Bryce Young? Like, do you guys feel it's unfair what they're getting that these GMs in the top 10 are hesitant to draft him because of the
No,
issues with Tua?
no, I don't even think it's a Tua issue.
No.
I don't even think it's a Tua issue. It's
Imagine
not
Chris
unfair.
Greer. Imagine Chris Greer giving up the future and getting the #1 overall pick right now.
Nah, that would be crazy. That would be franchise
Nah, he wouldn't do
malpractice.
nothing like that.
That's
That's too
Man, them
smart of
two
a move.
you don't
years
even
will
have a
slay
first round
him.
pick. How the hell did
Them
you
two
even do
years
this?
will slay him.
In my
So
in my
what?
You don't even have a
opinion, you
I
might as
first
don't
well
round
care
just get
about
pick.
those
How
Lamar
the
if
hell
that's
did
the
idiots.
you do
case.
this?
I ain't saying I'm just saying you know what's
I don't
gonna
care
happen.
about those goddamn idiots, man. They need to get out of their feelings, man. Like TD says,
I ain't
these
saying
people
Hey,
need to get out
listen.
of their feelings.
but nah, Chris Greer wouldn't do nothing like that.
It's either
He's too
Hey,
big.
Lamar or Tua. It's either
That's too big of
Lamar
a
or
move.
Tua. It's
hey, we
Lamar
got.
or
Y'all
Tua.
always say Chris Greer won't do something. Y'all said Chris Greer wasn't gonna get Tariq Hill. He did it. Y'all chill
He,
out. I
Anthony,
bet
but
wherever
remember how
you're
he got
hearing that
Tyreek
this
Hill?
Anthony
man Campbell
Richardson is the
pulling
next
pulling
Jamarcus
out some stuff,
Russell,
bro.
Bones.
don't
If
even
he
listen
had
to that
15
channel
million for
anymore.
Tyreek
Do
wouldn't be
not
going right
even
now.
listen to that channel anymore, Anthony. Listen to me, bro. Anthony Richardson being the next Jamarcus Russell, bro, that's not even comparable. You can't
Greer
compare
won't make
those
the
Exactly.
guys, not
smart.
even from
You
an
gonna end up
athletic
like
standpoint.
you gonna end up like Scott Pioli without a job. You gonna end up like Scott Pioli without a job.
That's what he
Remember
won't
he
do. He
told
won't
Lamar to
make the
run at the
smart move.
combine?
No matter how big or little it is, he won't make the smart move. That's what he won't do.
Like that's the thing. Tyreek was an obvious move. Like it's not like he was making
So
Obvious.
calls
y'all,
willing and dealing.
And
what's
I
the jet
said that
name y'all
Y'all
talking
gonna
about?
sit
Not
here.
Stroud, the other one. Y'all
Y'all, you
said
guys already might as well
when
book it.
he came
Sorry,
out,
Bones.
Like this
y'all
draft
My
has
bad, Bones.
four solid
I was gonna say you
quarterbacks.
guys
Four
might as
solid
well book it.
quarterbacks.
I don't know if you guys caught it today. Good Morning America when they were talking about the Dolphins. I mean, I said it a few times already. There's a possibility since we're giving this year to Tua to prove it, right? There's
I thought
a
it was half year.
very,
I thought that was half
very,
year.
very
I thought that was
high
half
nah,
year.
I don't want to
possibility.
give him nothing.
Listen,
He played the
there's
same
a
way 3-4 years
high
straight.
possibility. I, Bones, as a fan, we know where we stand with Tua, okay? But we have to talk from an organizational standpoint, like I'm doing right now.
Yeah,
They're
exactly.
committed to Tua for one more year, whether we like it or not. But what they're going to do, chances are,
Idiots.
like they said on Good Morning Football today, Cameron Wolf, they will probably take Hendon Hooker, a guy who's coming off of
ooh,
injury,
ooh.
who has a high ceiling,
That would be
but he's
beautiful.
injured, and we didn't
Beautiful.
see him in the combine. Where if Tua
Beautiful.
fails,
He'll be ready by
we
training
can
camp.
have this
He'll be
guy
ready by training
develop
camp.
backstage, let Skyler play before him, and then let it be a competition between Hooker and Skyler. That is what next year is going to come down to.
Why
I'm
are
You
telling
got
you
made.
guys.
why are we
That's what's
playing
going to
big
You got
happen.
numbers
made.
when we got
I,
guys in a win
this
now
fan base
window?
right here needs to understand that Skylar Thompson is quarterback
Okay.
number 2 right now, as we stand. They are going to look for either a veteran cast-off or draft not Malik Hooker, I mean Hendon Hooker. And that's
Pete,
what they're going to
Pete,
do. Look it.
Pete.
I know my
What
team.
what
Beautiful Adam.
Pete? Why would they make the moves to go get younger guys with an aging roster in a small window?
Because you got to understand what this roster is built
Because you
like.
add a
If
quarterback to
you
the
do,
room.
hold on. Let's say Tua fails us, right? Let's say Skyler fails us, right? But let's say we hit with Hooker. Now this team has no reset. We're with a rookie quarterback under contract, where you can continue to go out and build around this team.
So
It is
I don't want.
important now
Yep.
to not miss on a quarterback every draft from here.
So you're
This
You're
is
so
going
what
in
you're
and
I'm
out,
hoping
Pete.
saying.
But you
you're
just said
hoping we
we're
could
gonna wait
beat.
on. You want to wait on 2 quarterbacks to see what they got going on just to get to this jet? No, no, Pete. We're gonna do some smart stuff.
I'm
Like
telling you
we're
right
gonna we're
now
gonna we're gonna
that
trade what we
we
can
might
trade.
not like
Go
it,
get
we
Lamar,
might not
and then
like it,
draft Jet.
but what I'm
That way
telling
we
you
got
is
Lamar,
what's happening
Pollard,
in
and
front
Jet.
of our eyes. I'm not telling you guys what I want. I'm not telling you guys what I like.
It
I'm
doesn't make
telling you
sense.
guys what Greer has plans for our franchise.
And if he does
This
that,
is
he
what it's
deserves to get
going to
fired.
be, fellas. They're not going to do anything in the future to sign a big quarterback contract and risk losing Jalen Waddle or Jalen Phillips. Listen
That
to what
doesn't
I'm
make
telling
any
you.
sense.
They
That
want to
doesn't make
pay
any
their
sense.
draft picks and continue doing this. And
So,
hopefully, two is it. He's going to take a team friendly deal. We're going to find out this year, or some of us know he's not it. Some of us already know. But there's doubters out there that think that he could be it. And for
Pete,
those fans, they're
Pete,
going to find out 2023 if he survives the full year. But there's
Pete,
already going to be
what you're
plans
saying
where
doesn't make much
Skyler
sense,
gets
man.
play if Tua is not succeeding, and Hooker, if drafted, is the backup plan
Pete, what you're
continuously.
saying doesn't
That's
make
what is.
much
That's
sense
what's cooking.
because we have to beat juggernauts like the Chiefs. We have to beat guys like Burrow. You want to put that in the hands of a rookie QB if Tua doesn't work out?
100%.
We got no
You did
choice.
you not see Sky?
Well,
Listen
if
to me
Tua
when
is
I'm telling you. I
drafted,
didn't say this. Listen, people be like, "Oh, Pete likes Skyler because he wants to hate on Tua." That's literally the spectrum they want to put me on. And in all reality, that is not the truth. I had 3 drops in a road game, in a playoff game versus Buffalo that Jalen Waddle dropped. That's 100 and something yards. That's 100 and something yards added to 150 yards added to a rookie seventh rounder in a playoff road game. That's almost 400 yards of passing in a playoff game on the road, potentially winning that game if Waddle catches those passes. I know what I'm telling you guys.
All right, so Pete knows what he's trying to tell you guys. I had to take everybody off the stream because I was supposed to be gone at 2 o'clock. To head to pick my boys up from school, and we are past that time, so I'm going to end the stream abruptly. I didn't have time to get your final takes, but we're going to come back at this later, maybe late tonight. Also, just depends if the wifey still want to have date night or not. Ron, you're too late, buddy. You're too late. All right. Y'all give me 1 second. I might keep being able to go. Y'all give me a second. Yeah, so I'm gonna head out and go get the kids, y'all. I ain't gonna stick around for this one, but I will be back later, maybe early evening, maybe late night. But we're gonna keep this conversation going because it's getting really interested with these options that we have. Because truth is, nobody is talking about the fact that we could make a move to go up in this draft if we wanted to. In that Hendon Hooker situation, that's I'm saying Hendon Hooker, but Hooker situation, that's even an interesting conversation as well. So we're gonna pick up where we left off later. Love y'all, appreciate y'all, but let me go get the kiddos, man. We done did like 5 hours of streaming this morning. Love y'all, appreciate y'all. Thank you for the love and support. Salute to y'all, those who donated in the Cash App that I see. I'll mention them later. Thank y'all for the love. Peace. I am out. I'll see you soon.